Now we are live.
Hello, everybody.
Yeah.
Welcome to this wonderful Saturday morning. We are Half-Rate Heroes, and we're excited to play again with our special guest. I'm Katie Quixotic. You can find me everywhere as that. I'm gonna let everybody introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Carl. Today I'm playing Lafcadio Whitehorn, the Tabaxi Warlock.
Hello, I'm Vinny. I am playing Kale Irvine, half-elven cleric.
Hi, I'm Casey, and I'm playing the champion of Time Warrior, Pillar of the Plains, Heckler, Big Fire, Chicken, Shiva, Vet, Storm Slayer, Shadows, Moss, the Boss of Neverwinter.
Hey, honey, I am John, the dwarf from Marabar, master of the axe, enemy of the drow, traveler of the plains, destroyer of shadows, deliverer of certain death. I am the wampum Thunderbelly of the cellar.
Yeah. I think it's me. I'm Graham Crackers, or Graham. I play your favorite and only Shadarkai Necromancer Wizard, Tazlin Evrio, who has no fancy titles, because he doesn't subscribe to those.
Hi,
And
everybody.
who? Yep,
Yeah.
sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good. I was gonna say that's always a roller coaster. It's you hit that peak and it just comes right down. Thanks, Graham, for settling us at the end. Hi, everybody. I am Derek Sword, DSword16 on Twitter. I am going to be playing once again Ryman, who is Gnoss's adopted father. He's her dad. He's your dad, and I'm proud of you. You're doing a good job. I'm happy to be back for my second session, and looking forward to what comes next.
I love that. Who would like to do the recap?
Derek would.
You know what? I might not get another chance. I absolutely will. Okay, so last time the party found itself coming into Westgate, where Gnoss had not been for over 5 years. It technically was her, I guess, adopted home more than anything else, and she basically set about to find some familiar faces, the first of which being Easy Heezy, her goblin friend Herzog at his local bar. She also ran into a past crush and maybe future crush. Then she found her way home to Fortune Boone Hall, where she met with her adopted father, Ryman, and found that they were having a massive party in order to honor Timora, because there's maybe been some reason to honor Timora lately. So during the festivities, she wrestled a bear, had a dance with her dad. Everybody else partied in their own way, and we left off with them just going to meet with Ryman, as he is going to tell them about some stuff that's been going on.
Mm-hmm. And I think, Gnoss, you said you were going to personally go gather everyone up and bring them back, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Had we actually done that, or were you on the way to doing that?
Knee. I was on the
She was
way.
on her way.
Okay, so we'll pick back up where Gnoss parts ways with Sophie to go fetch everyone.
I'll continue to carry one of those plates that the server gave me that's just full of alcohol.
That's
I'll just be nursing that while I'm going around doing that. Go hit up Wampum first at the more meat table. Be like, old man,
Ah,
it is time. Follow me. We're all gonna gather in Ryman's office.
can I take a plate with me?
Hell yeah, you can.
Okay,
I'll wait for that.
I'll go fill my plate up so it's like about that high.
Nobody even bats an eye. Yeah.
Where's Lafcadio? What's he up to?
I don't know. I was eating.
I'm just standing up on the periphery, observing.
You're just wallflowering the shit out of this party?
Yep.
Okay. I'll wave him down.
What's going on, Gnoss?
We're doing the meeting thing. Follow me.
Oh, okay.
Go get Kale, who's probably somewhere nearby as well.
Kale is standing kind of like in the middle of the main chamber or whatever, just staring up at the ceiling and doing stuff in his notebook.
I'm gonna get right next to his ear and be like, "Hey, Gale!"
Ah, shit. I don't know if he react quite that violently, but he, after the initial shock, he just kind of closes the notebook and puts his infinite pen away, and very gingerly says, "Yes."
Well, we're gathering to go talk about shit.
Oh, good, great, wonderful. I'm okay. Is that what do you got there? What is that in your hand?
Alcohol.
Thank you.
Welcome. And then, yeah, down the steps into the vault to go get Taslin.
Speaking of, I'm about to sneeze.
Oh no.
Okay, it passed. We're good.
Oh.
So, Taslin, you were downstairs and you had plucked one scroll at random and had spent some time perusing the vaults down there and the spell scrolls and other information that they had available to them. You had picked out two and had randomly plucked one. In the time that you have been down there, you have been able to unroll the scrolls, glance them over. You recognize that you have come across a scroll for the Gust cantrip,
Okay.
a scroll for the spell Wall of Thorns, and one for the spell Aid.
Oh, hey. Yeah, so I don't think Taslin has the time to study it and copy them down because they take like double the level of their value. So I think he'll just pocket them.
Mm-hmm.
Or he'll think about pocketing them, then he's going to be like, am I allowed to pocket them? Am I not allowed? I think that's when Gnoss walks in. It's just like this moral dilemma where he's just like,
Bag open, scroll in hand, like,
yeah, oh, you're here. That's quite wonderful. Has it been so long already?
It's been about an hour. Maybe 2. Hard to keep track of time right now. We're doing the meeting thing. Do you want to join us, or do you want to stay here? I would suggest joining us.
I would love to join you. Can I just put these in my bag? Am I going to get yelled at?
Do you need to?
I mean, I want to copy them down in my spell book.
Oh, you haven't copied them yet. Yeah.
It's going to take like 7 hours or more.
Okay, yeah.
So-
No, put them in your bag. Come on.
Throw them in the bag. So how was the rest of the party for all of you? You look... Is that a stack of meat?
As his mouth is full.
I would make a pun, but I'm above that tonight.
And I'm just gonna point at him and give me the finger and keep eating.
Right, this way.
I'm glad no one expected me to follow that up. So we'll follow Gnoss, I guess.
Yeah, you go up the stairs back onto the ground level, and then we go into the actual temple proper. The outside has been held in more or less like the courtyard area where the altar is and everything. But we're going past that now through a marble wall into the more living space area. Take a left, take a right down the hall. There's a door. I open it.
She opens the door to your office, Ryman. You've been in there preparing to do whatever it is that you're planning on telling them.
Yeah, Ryman's office is almost equally office as it is almost like a combat station. Whatever the term for that is. I can't think of it right now, but yeah.
War room!
War room. Yeah, there you go. Combat station. It's like a synonym. Combat bedroom, you know. But anyway, there's a table right in the table right in the center with a map of Westgate on it, and there's several pins that have been placed in at all different points around the map itself. There's a set of armor that's kind of hanging on a rack in the corner. Heavy glaive that's kind of propped up horizontal behind a desk where he normally sits, and just stacks and stacks of paperwork, and just kind of, like a weapons rack, and, a couple miscellaneous shields on the wall. But yeah, it has enough room for, enough people to stand around the table and him to bark out orders, but at the same time, this is where he normally works when he's not slaying people. And he looks up and, oh, please, come in.
Kale looks hesitant at the door, but everyone else is freely able to walk in if they so choose.
Is there a comfy chair?
Yeah, there's chairs around the table. You can have a seat. We'll sit Arthur style.
Okay. I do so.
I wanted to speak specifically to Gnoss, but actually to all of you. I know that you're all connected to a deity or two. Gnoss, I wanted to speak to you specifically about this because I've been feeling, what's the word? I guess a tug, a tightness when it comes to my connection to Tymora. And once again, I know you're closer to her than I ever have been, but Westgate's been having problems lately. The party upstairs, there's a secondary reason for why we're having that. The secondary reason, I guess, is actually just to have fun and celebrate Tymora and bring people in. The primary reason is I'm feeling like Tymora's losing power. I'm not feeling a disconnect by any means, but there certainly is something that's straining the connection that I have with her. Have you felt anything like that?
I haven't felt anything like that because I am her partially. Like, she gave me some of her to be where I am right now. However, I can confirm that your feelings are real and they're a true thing, because what I was going to tell you is why we're here, what the mission is now. The deal is that Shar is launching an assault. She's starting with the Shadowfell, and we need to stop it before she can envelop it entirely, because if she does gain the Shadowfell, then she's going to have her army that she can use to launch a full assault on the rest of the planes. Yeah, so that's happening. And the gods and us, we and the gods, are fighting it. Yeah, gods and I. Thank you, Kale. We're attempting to fight it. We're the front line. And recently there have been some demands for her divinity. I don't know if you heard about what happened at Spirit Soaring.
All we get here at Westgate are rumors. I thought I would hear some of your stories. They'd mention a hobgoblin female, but nothing concrete, so I'd rather hear the story from you.
All right, well, she's using Shedar Kai, a lot of them, to be capable of manipulating the material plane the way that she wants. I think that she's persuaded a lot of them to her side because the person that she's attacking to gain power of the Shadowfell is the Raven Queen. And so she's taking the Raven Queen's people on the cell that she can offer them some kind of freedom, which isn't really freedom. It's just going to be like, well, it could be to some. I shouldn't say that. But you know what Shar does. She's the Black Void. She's the Abyss. She's lost incarnate. But I can see how some people would be into that if you've lived as long as some of the elves have. Point being, she used them to go to Spirit Soaring, which is known to be a point of divinity for Denier, and she used them to drain much of the divinity out of it. We tried to stop it, but she friggin' joined forces with a shadow dragon. So we were kind of gotten the drop on by him. We have since killed him, but there was a bit too much going on at Spirit Soaring at the time, and we ended up kind of losing that fight. We succeeded in the mission, but it wasn't enough to keep the divinity in Spirit Soaring. So that's what she's doing here. And Timora herself had to sequester us during our transition to becoming partitioners. And that took a lot of her energy. And then in addition to that, she's simultaneously fighting other fronts all around the plains, just like I believe Moradin is and Nobanian is, and Denier continues despite his wounds. That's what we're dealing with. We are here because Timora said that we are the sword and the shield, the way that Shar is using the Shadar Kai. We are their influence upon the material plane, where everything happens, where everything is part of everything, you know? So we have been tasked with finding ways to communicate directly with our gods, and they've been bestowing power upon us. So more or less, I'm here to get mine.
Well, I didn't know all of that, but I had started to surmise that there were issues with Timora, and now you're telling me that there's a war.
I mean, technically, isn't there always?
In a way, but this is, as opposed to being a Cold War, this is the gods being strained on several fronts. And, well, if you notice the map here, each of these points is... I don't know if Shar has allies. I would imagine she might be looking for them, and whether by intention or not, her weakening Timora is only strengthening. Is it Bishaba? Is that how you pronounce it?
I think so.
All right. It's only strengthening Bishaba and her forces. Each of these points is somewhere where we've noticed that her cultists are cropping up, causing misfortune, causing ill deeds. They're becoming bolder. In our city, where they know that there's a temple to Timora, they're popping up at gaming halls, at jousting events. That they're not out in full force. It's not enough to cause a city sweep or anything like that, but they can tell that there's a weakness that they're trying to exploit.
That makes sense. Bad luck leads to loss.
It does, and Bishaba is certainly one who appreciates darkness, and in fact, that's all her cultists care about, is avoiding their own misfortune by causing it to others.
Well, I appreciate what you're doing here today, because every single time someone plays a hand, rolls a die, it's helping.
Yeah, absolutely. That was our intent, was to try to create some sort of boost to her power, a single event where maybe more people could think of her name, thank her for a night. That's why the encouragement, the over-encouragement to gamble, to risk. It's all just another coin in the fountain.
Well, we're working on it.
Of course you are. I would expect any less. What can we do? What can I do to help you all?
This here, what you're doing right here, is perfect. In fact, was going to bring up something else I wanted to ask you, and it might help with this as well. I don't know how many funds left that the temple has, considering it's becoming a bigger priority in order to throw these shindigs. But I wanted to know, and Eskel might want to be here for this, but I wanted to know if I could use the temple like a bank. That way, you can use my funds now, but then pay me back later.
I'm sorry, Casey. I missed all of that. Something just screwed up with my microphone. I'm really sorry.
No, you're good. I was just saying that I would like to use the Timoran Temple as a bank so that you can use my money to continue to fund the celebrations of what's happening here, get more people in here. But you'd owe me.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think that's a weird thing to ask at all. Yes.
Who's got the bag?
Oh, I have a bag.
And I also have a bag.
Okay. I did not give any money to you, I don't think, pointing to Teslin.
That's usually a safe bet.
So Kale, can you pop it down? See if I can fish out what I can.
Yeah, he hands her the bag.
And then I'll just start scooping massive amounts of gold and jewels and platinum bars. Just
Don't watch out for the diamonds. Leave the diamonds in there.
No, I got the diamonds on
I
me.
need those. Look.
I have most.
I have a lot in there also. So.
Oh, okay. Well,
You know where the vault is. Why are you putting... I have a map here. Don't put it on the table. Great. All right. Well, your donation is appreciated. And Timora thanks you all. Luck be upon you.
Thank you.
You notice that a few of the markers you had of the altercations that you'd run into have been shifted slightly by coins, and you have to move them back a few times, and then you have to stop and look at it. Wait, no, this one was here, and you're pretty sure you get it back to what you remember it being before the cascade of coins came onto the table.
Well, that was the news. Is there anything else I should know? Anything else I can do for any of you?
I guess just look out for attempts for contact. Be hyper vigilant for omens today, because I haven't seen anything yet that is particularly insightful.
Okay. And I would ask all of you, while you're in the city, keep an eye out for servants of Bishaba, lest misfortune fall upon you.
Is it
Other than that-
possible that you suspect that some of them are here at this party this very night?
It's always a potential. We've seen them in this city. They would be incredibly bold, foolhardy to come to the temple where we have armed guards looking for them, but servants of Bishaba are, well, they're treacherous. They can hide in plain sight. They can cause misfortune wherever they go. That's why we're so vigilant and keeping an eye out for them and trying to stop them wherever they go.
You say stop them. What do you mean by that exactly? In what way would you have us deal with servants of Bishaba?
Kill him, right? Kill him?
Absolutely. Kill them, destroy their altars, destroy their symbols, wipe them from the material plane.
So ye saying that they have a stronghold here in Westgate already?
I wouldn't call it a stronghold. There has to be at least a small number of them for the accounts that we've received. We've caught a couple, but Bishaba rarely has full-out temples. If we've destroyed quite a few, at least in my time. So her followers are much more secretive in their worship. If anything, they would be hidden shrines at the bottom in someone's basement, locked in someone's closet, hidden symbols worn on a person. They can, like I said, they can hide in plain sight. So that's why we hunt them the way that we do.
I'm up for a cleansing. Anybody else?
Yep.
It's a heavy term to just kind of throw
Yes.
around like
I'm
that.
already forced into one holy war. I'm not going to be joining another one.
This is the same one.
This isn't another war. This is just.
It's like another unit of soldiers.
It's just another battle.
Yes. Well, you say that they're insidious and prone to trickery. Do you have any tips for identifying servants of Bashava, whether or not they're overtly displaying their faith?
The first identifier is finding a place where misfortune is befalling everyone except for a few. And I know that can sound like, oh, that's everywhere. No, it's a very specific place. It's a gambling hall. It's a fighting ring. It's somewhere where risk is involved, and everyone has an extreme misfortune befalling them, except for the person in the corner, except for the one person raking in all of the chips. The servants of Bashava, the reason that they serve her, the reason they pray to her, is because they fear misfortune so much that they shove whatever misfortune they would ever have onto someone else so that they never have to experience it. It's the greediest, most selfish belief that someone can have.
I've known them that aren't even afraid. I've met some that just like to make misfortune happen because they like feeling better than everybody else.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that, of course, the sadists who just want to watch everyone suffer.
Some people just want to watch the world burn, you know?
They do.
Sure. Okay. Noted. Thank you. I'm good.
What's the plan, daughter?
I think we should, if that's more of a threat than I realized before, I think we should get in on the games. Get in on the games and sort of guard them. Help the younger initiates out, because they might not have... I know they don't have the same experience that we do.
They don't. That's, I guess, the other side of the coin, as it were, is that the followers of Free Fate, who hunt Bishava and her followers, is an ancient order, and as such, it has fewer and fewer members every day. We try to recruit and train the young people that come to Timor for help, but there is a large gap between my generation and theirs, and their hunting Timoran followers, and the beasts that serve Timora is a dangerous business, and not everyone gets to be the age that I am. So absolutely your help in supporting them, and hell, even if you have the time training them, is more than appreciated.
It's been a while since I've been to the fighting pits. Maybe a visit's in order.
Master Dwarf, that is something I would pay to see.
Get your money out. Well,
Yeah, let's. If there's nothing else, I mean, we can just get to it, I guess.
So are we thinking that we want to look for them here in the temple or out in the city?
Let's do the temple first. Because
tonight's about celebration. I would say just be vigilant, but we're not hunting tonight. We're celebrating Timora. If you have the coin, go upstairs, enjoy the tables, enjoy the drink and the food, and just celebrate. That's the best thing you can do tonight. I remember we're going till dawn, so pace yourselves.
Okay. Kale finishes the drink that he had before and grabs another one. And then he stands up and says, I'm ready. Is everyone else ready?
I'm gonna go do the vault thing first, just to make sure that gets done and out of the way. I'll join y'all after that. I promise I'll count right.
Okay, I'll go with you.
Okay.
You can carry the rest of these. And he lifts the tray up with the drinks on it.
Yep. Balance it on my head.
So Gnoss and Kale are going to the vaults, and everyone else is heading back out?
Yes, Wampum's heading back down to the to where all the commotion is, and then he's going to head out front to where we came in, where the that little shrine of Timora was.
Okay.
I'll go with Wampum, I guess.
Okay, so you two are heading to the fountain. Go ahead.
Would Taslin realize that the 3 scrolls he got are all non-arcane based?
I mean, I would think so. At
okay.
the level of wizard you are, that would be pretty straightforward.
Okay. As he's passing, he'll return the 3 documents. Or the 3 scrolls.
There are others if you would like to take a look around.
I think Taslin is paranoid about being alone in the library for too long at this point. and probably will go join Wampum right after returning them where he found them.
Okay. As you are returning those, and you've come to the realization that you happen to grab these 3 that aren't arcane based, so presumably you don't have the capacity to cast them. Is that what's happening? Okay.
Well, I have a limit to how many cantrips. So Gust is a cantrip that Arcane could cast, but I am limited and can't add in
That's fair. As you're putting them away, and you know how when people have a moment and they're flipping a coin, and you flip it, and as soon as you do, you realistically know what side you wanted to land on, but afraid of making that choice, and you have that I know what I want sort of feeling. As you're sliding the last one back onto one of those square cubbies that the scrolls fit neatly into, in the back of your head, when you think, I wish I had found this scroll, what would it have been?
Ooh, what spell? I'll go easy. I think Magic Missile.
So you're pushing this last scroll in, kind of not dejectedly, but just well, that was disappointing. As I look over everything and decide these aren't useful to me at all. And as you do it and you push this scroll into this little cubby, it shakes a little bit, like it's not part of the wall. It's almost like a bookshelf kind of standing in front of it. And as that happens and it kind of wobbles a little bit, something kind of plunks down on the top of your head, and you see it kind of coming out of the corner of your eye as this is happening, and there's just a piece of paper that kind of hits you and rolls into your hands, and it's just a rolled up piece of paper. It doesn't look as well looked after as the rest of the scrolls or anything like that, and you have that moment of almost deja vu, but not deja vu, where you had that this one's for Timora, and you pulled one out, and this fell from above where you pulled that first one out. And as you unroll it and look at it, it's not clasped, there's nothing around it. It's a scroll of Arcane Missile. Yes, we said Arcane Missile, right?
Magic Missile.
Magic Missile. I was wait, Arcane Missile.
Level 1 spell.
Yeah, Magic Missile. I meant to say Magic Missile.
Taslin will Thank you. And he'll tuck it away, and then he'll head out towards Wampum. He'll try and avoid Sophie if he can. He's maintaining like a solid 30 feet distance minimum.
Professional distance.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect.
Far enough that he can screw with her with spells if he has to.
Gotcha.
Not within foot range.
Okay. Perfect. Yeah, you've been around just enough, and as Gnoss guided you back to the war room / restroom, the ready room, and such, that it's easy to navigate your way out after you've separated from the group. Gnoss and Kale to the vault. Anything in particular you do with the riches you're planning on putting away, Gnoss, or are you just going to kind of unceremoniously toss it in there? I'm sure it's kind of Scrooge McDuck style a little bit.
No. I put it down and I motioned for Kale to come join me. We can do this in an orderly manner, if it is his preference. I will say that I have all of the diamonds are on me that has come into my personal acquisition, and I also have a great many gemstones on me. I won't be putting all of them in there, all of it in there, but there's just there's a lot. So
yeah, no, anything that belongs to you, obviously, do whatever you want with. I was just concerned that you might start pulling out diamond dust and stuff from the bag of holding. Yeah,
I'm thinking, well, I don't know entirely the way that these magical things work, but I'm thinking only my stuff, so I'm hoping that that's enough.
Sure. Yeah, I can do an inventory later.
Oh, God. Let me know if you need help with that. You're going to need help with that.
I think I'll be all right. But yeah, just go for it. Do whatever you want.
There's a point at which I'm pulling out these solid platinum bars, and I'm looking at him for approval with how perfectly I'm stacking them.
They look really orderly. Yeah.
However it looks, just thumbs up.
Mm-hmm.
There's call out the ivory strips. I don't need those anymore.
All right. Yep. Put that next to the area that has most of the expensive components and stuff.
Okay.
Everything else, I would like to keep my eyeball. And there's a bunch of shit in there. Don't worry.
Yeah, I'll trust you all to mark what you've put where and whatnot. Money is of absolutely no concern to you at this point, pretty much. So, I'm not really, not really worried about it.
So I don't know how long this is going to take, but before we leave, after I stand up and kind of dust my hands off and pass the bag back, I'm going to say, so you've been writing notes for this whole time, looks like. It's been hours.
Not, well, yeah, sometimes. They're not always exactly notes. It's just kind of a mess in there.
That could be said about a lot of things in life,
Yes, I agree. It's really just mostly stream of consciousness stuff. It's not really anything fantastic or necessarily relevant to anything going on right now.
Some of us might say that it would be very interesting, in fact, to see Kale's stream of consciousness. Do you, I don't suppose I could read a little bit. Only if it's all right with you. You can.
Sure. Yeah, that's not. Yeah, I don't know how much of it you'll be able to actually read, but here, he just hands her the notebook that you gave him.
Peel that puppy open. Inside the book is a mess. There's random sketches and tables in the margins of pages, and very little of the writing is actually in common. This is pretty much all Gnoss could read, plus some other stuff. It's an interesting exercise, I think, to attempt to discern a somewhat precise estimation of the god's level of omnipotence. For instance, when exactly were the machinations of next several lines appear to be written in abyssal script, which just looks like gobbledygook to me. The writing transitions into Celestial, which I'm slightly more familiar with, for a few more lines before switching back to Common. When I obtained the Luckstone while fleeing that troll's den. These sorts of examples beg the question of predetermination for many philosophers. And I'm like, my finger is on, that's helping me read. Do we truly have freedom of choice? A philosophical debate goes on for a few pages, bouncing between different languages seemingly at random. Kale must have had trouble sleeping one night or something. There are a few pages, none of them connected, filled with symbols that don't look like any language at all. They have no discernible pattern and seem as though they were tossed haphazardly upon the page. Or maybe they're supposed to look disoriented like that? No, I can't. And then I find a script that I am quite familiar with. It's in Common script because it has adopted Common alphabet, but it's Goblin is what it is. And it says, "Hello, Gnoss. I'm sure I gave this book to you of my own free will. It's only fair, as it was you, after all, who gifted this to me in the first place." And I kind of look up from the book at this point, and
he just kind of lifts his glass, keeps drinking.
I appreciate it very much, and apologize for the fact that most of it is probably unreadable to you. I've dedicated the next page to you as compensation. The next page is dominated entirely by a charcoal sketch of an only vaguely goblinoid figure, as the shading suggests that their more detailed features were washed out or concealed by the brilliant light of a pair of enormous celestial wings bursting from its back. One of the final pages containing writing appears to be a musical composition. It is written in treble clef with a time signature of 5/24. What?
I know what that means.
Where the key signature should be written, there are instead symbols that look similar to Celestial script. To anyone who doesn't understand utilizing music to access the weave, the sounds that these notes would appear to make are absurd and certainly not melodic. To someone more practiced in the art, however, it does start to make some sort of sense and sounds like something you could call music.
And there's actually, you can find the thing that I was trying to reference sort of on YouTube, but maybe in a fantastical way. It's a song, sort of. It's a series of noises by the Apples in Stereo, called Non-Pythagorean Composition Number 3. And it's kind of my imagination, like what celestial language almost sounds like. We can't play it on the stream because it's copywritten and stuff, and there's ads here, but if someone wanted to look it up, it's there.
I absolutely want you to link that in the Discord later so I can go listen to it.
But that should be it for that's all I gave Casey to read. That's pretty much all Gnoss would be able to understand, really.
Close the book. I have the space. I will hand the book back.
Was it interesting?
Yes, and then I'm going to hug him.
Oh.
I really like the picture.
You're welcome. Or I guess thank you. It's
Both would be applicable.
It's really interesting to me, I guess. I don't know if that's the right word. But it's just that for as beautiful as you look right now, the way, you put on this nice thing for the party and everything, it doesn't even come close to the real thing.
Can we make out yet? Like, is that...
He looks around the vault, and there's like no one else there, and he's just like, "Yeah, I think that'd be appropriate."
Excellent. And then I basically slam him against the wall, and then let's go somewhere else.
Fade to Wapham and Lefcadio approaching the Fountain du Timora. Ryman, when you saw you all kind of exited, Tazlin seemed to be the only one that held back. Did you hold back to do anything, or did you immediately go back to attend to the party?
I think he trusts Gnoss's companions enough that if Tazlin's hanging back, he's not going to worry too much about him. So, yeah, Ryman's priority is the party.
Okay.
Tonight, especially, yeah.
So as you all you exit with Wampum and Lefcadio, and you see them kind of like make their way, and at first it's not necessarily apparent, but after a few moments it's pretty clear that they're kind of making this direct path towards the fountain, and you can be free to do your own thing, or if you wanted to accompany them maybe at a distance or join them, what have you, that's totally up to you. But we will cut to Wampum and Lefcadio approaching the fountain, unless you want to pick up slightly before that.
No, I think that he's walking with them, especially since Wampum said that he might get involved in the fighting pits, and that is something Ryman wants to see. So, yeah,
Okay,
he'll walk with them.
So you're with them as well, then. So Wampum, you approach the... Yeah, go ahead.
Wampum approaches the fountain, and he takes out his jewelry that he had on his beard and his mustache from before. And he looks and says, this could maybe be better on another cause. So he looks at the fountain, and then he looks around and he sees that he has other company, but he says, well, Timora, Gnoss is here for your blessings, for your guidance. I think she needs to hear from you today. I just throw the jewelry in the fountain. I'm asking for your blessing. I'm asking for you to look over her. Her adopted father and her so-called adventuring father are standing here today. Give her strength. Give her what she's looking for. I know your strength may be fading, but she's here to give it back to you. And then Wampum will look at Ryman and just nod. Say, well, where's the fighting pits?
Wampum, before that, I should have thanked you when I first saw you. Thanks for watching out for our girl.
There's no thanks. She's watched after me. I've gotten all these guys in so much trouble that I'm the one that should be thanking all of you.
Gnoss has been a fighter almost all of her life. And that's why I appreciate you and Lefcadio, you and all of her friends, because even though you fight by her side, you're the ones that give her peace. And that's more than anything what I wish for her.
Wampum just taps him on the shoulder. And, well, lead the way.
Of course. Yes, I am definitely putting some coin on this. And he'll guide him to an outside portion of the temple where there is a square fighting ring with a dirt floor that's been thoroughly, mussed and trampled by the fights that are already going on. And there's a fight already going on between a half-orc and a Goliath, but it seems to be from the from the tiredness of the combatants that this is probably coming to an end soon.
As you're both stepping away from the fountain, I would like you both to make religion checks with advantage, please.
Oh, well, that was with advantage. Yeah, it's a good thing with advantage. Religion, I have absolutely nothing there, but I rolled an 18 on the die.
Nice, nice.
No, it was 16 for me.
16 total for you, 18 total for you, 12 total for Lefcadio. Raymond, what does it normally feel like when you feel your connection to Timora? What is the strength of that connection give you? Is there a feeling to it? Is it like emotional? Is it physical? Is there like a smell of gold or the sound of clinking coins? Like, what is it that lets you know when like she's with you or you feel her strength behind you?
Yeah, I think when he prays every day, it's an internal kind of warmth and relaxation that comes to it. But in those especially divine moments when he feels like he does hear her voice and hears, maybe not literally, but understands what her will is. It is. It's kind of like he gets a sort of metallic, almost gold smell, and there is kind of like a clinking noise that's accompanied by normally a light. It's normally when he's in front of the golden statue, and it'll almost get like just a single sheen will kind of run down the statue itself.
Okay. So Wampum, you give this offering, you make this plead, say this prayer. You have this moment with Ryman where you're kind of acknowledging the the mutual love you have for this daughter you've both adopted, and you're wishing her well for everyone and for her too. And there's the sound of this party around you, and there are whoops and cheers, and there's the clinking of the chips as people are making bets and playing their various games at various tables. But as you turn, there is the distinct sort of smell of like a handful of gold, and that sort of like taste of when you bite into something to see if it's pure, kind of like that crosses over your tongue, and you just feel really energized at the idea of going to the fighting pits.
Well, I'm feeling a little energized. I'm feeling like I need to let some energy off. So, where do I put my name at?
You have next. I suppose if either, the current combatants are looking a little rough, so we'll see if maybe there's a new fighter who wants to take on you, Wampum. Woe be to them.
So Wampum will go up, and I take it there's probably leather wraps for your hands, and so
the like powder and all that stuff that you need, and
he'll take off his silk, tunic and his belt, and then he'll wrap up and put some powder on, and then just start looking around.
Okay. Yeah, there are attendants to the participants who are standing there. Essentially they each have like velvet pouches that are the size of like a normal person's belongings, so you could easily put tunic, belts, like jewelry, anything you didn't want to have on you as you went in that you can place in there, and they kind of cinch it closed and they personally hold it for you while you are participating, so that you have no worries about any of your belongings at all. And you can they are like color coded, so like it's easy to identify, even if you're unfamiliar with the people who typically attend the temple, which one is yours. You get like a deep royalish blue sort of color, and the person stands back holding your belongings. Do you know who might be the next up, Ryman, or do you not? Was Madame Ophelia sort of running this particular venture? Just more Ryman's.
I think that this was probably just kind of a free-for-all sort of thing. But he is going to get in the middle of the ring once the pulled out. Did get his bottom lip ripped off, but yeah, he still pulled out in the end and was the victor. But yeah, Ryman's going to kind of send them towards one of the cleric's ways to get healed up, and he's going to stand in the middle and go, next up, ladies and gentlemen, we have a special treat. I am so excited. Wampum Thunderbelly, adventurer, dwarf, hero, is going to step into the ring. Would anyone dare to step into the ring with him?
And as Wampa walks in the ring, he's going to start singing his war song.
I love it. I love it. Go ahead and make an intimidation check, Wampum.
Oh, intimidation would be a 15.
Okay. There are a couple of people that are standing out. They look like they've prepared for fighting, or that they're maybe thinking about it. They're like speaking to attendants and such, because this is a little bit more of like an informal endeavor. The thing that is a little bit more formally run is obviously the like bookie running the betting and such. And you can see a few of the people that had been kind of maybe prepping or looking interested look over and kind of all like collectively take a step back in their various ways, where they look a little like maybe not this time, or one of them actually does physically take a step back and starts to put his like coat back on, and at first it looks like your name or your imposing figure has like caused no one to want to come up against you. Are you saying something, Vinny? Does Kale have input? No? Okay. And stepping out from sort of like on the fringes of the crowd comes this like really live looking figure, elven it looks like. They have like long white hair that's braided back out of their face. They don't look like anyone you've seen before necessarily, but it doesn't look like sort of just a person from the town as they start to like peel off the jacket, the tunic, and whatnot that they have on. You can see that this is somebody who has seen combat. There's scars across them. There's one really deep gash over their like chest, where their heart would be, kind of like slightly to the left. And they dust their hands and they put the leather wraps on, and they take the hair that was unbraided, that was down, and they kind of just tie the hair itself in a knot around itself so that it's not free flowing in the back, and they take a few steps out onto the dirt.
Katie, would Taslim have made it back to the entry hall by this point?
Yeah, it took you very little time to do what you were doing. So when you come out, you know that they're going probably to the fighting pits. Did you want to head that way as well?
Yeah. Taslim will watch the fight.
Okay.
And you said this elf was white-haired and had braids, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I don't think Can you roll me like a flat 1d100? Katie?
Sure.
Because I feel like Gnoss mentioned that the assassin was an elf and had white hair.
1d100 is a 5.
Oh, okay. So I don't think Taslim puts 2 and 2 together.
Well, Taslin is an intelligent individual, so if you were on the lookout for something like that, and it were I look out loud, Vinny's like, and I'm like, he's got an intelligence of like 20 or something. Like, if you were on the lookout for that, and you had like that inkling of like, that sounds familiar, and you wanted to take a closer look, you absolutely could make a perception or investigation check.
Yeah, I will make a investigation. 19 plus, I think it's 10, let's see. 19 plus 10, 29.
29. So you're taking a look at this person, and you remember the like the description that Gnoss had given you. Clean shaven, long hair, everything is kind of grayscale. They're pale and ashen. They do have like silvery-ish hair. They typically are dressed in black. And as you kind of study their facial features after the initial like color palette and sort of like live figure caught your attention, you remember her mentioning they could be an elf, they could be a variant of a tiefling without horns. It's very possible that this is the same person since you've never actually seen them yourself, but it's not like definitive. There's no like emblem that gives them away. They seem to be clean shaven, but they don't look like they're particularly pale. They just look like normal elven, sort of like fair skinned, but still have that sort of like pink flush of life to their cheeks that elves have from their longevity and such. Okay. Unless you're a shadow guy.
Yeah. Tasman's just going to watch the fight then, and if it seems this guy is taking wampum for his rounds, he'll send Gnoss.
Okay. All right.
I would like to go up to the to whoever's taking bets.
Okay. Who's taking bets? Ryman, do you have anyone in particular, or do you... If you have something planned, go for it. If you don't, I can totally take this.
I don't. I would say it's probably just an attendant. They probably have somebody set up at each station with just, a table that's good at math.
Yeah. Yeah, one of the less fightery, more sort of like cleric-y attendants. They're in the color scheme of the temple. There is like a small like idol type thing that makes it very clear that this table is affiliated with the temple, like it's a statue of a woman, sort of like similar to the Timoran fountain sort of thing. And they have a board next to them with the what is that called? The odds, the odds of matchups of known individuals. There aren't odds yet for this one, and it looks like they're talking to. There's two of them, and one of them is like a young half-elven male with brown hair is speaking to a tiefling woman. She has like a light purplish, sort of almost lavendery skin, silver pupilless eyes, and they're kind of like speaking in hushed tones, trying to decide among like what the odds for this particular matchup might be.
So I'll walk up and I'll say, "Excuse me, who do the odds favor in this upcoming bout? Surely it would be my good friend Wampum Thunderbelly."
And they kind of both look at you, and the elven man looks over at the tiefling woman, kind of like that sort of look where it's clear that they were like sort of like debating on this. She furrows her brow a bit, and she says, "We're familiar with him well enough. We've heard of the AO. A few exploits maybe, but this other person we're not so familiar with. We're trying to figure out if we knew who they were. We don't, but they look like they're quite seasoned. It's hard to say, but since he's got a bit more renown, we would say that it would likely be in his favor. We're determining that right now, actually."
All right. Well, then in that case, I'll put 100 gold on Wampum Thunderbelly, please.
And they look at each other and they open up like a book that they're like jotting down notes in, and they decide to put up on the board. What would like normal odds for a fight like this be? Like 1 to 2 kind of thing, 2 to 3. I don't know. We're gonna say 2 to 3. And so I forget exactly. I don't know how gambling works. We'll figure that out in a second. If one of you knows, let me know when we see what happens. So they put the odds up there, and they take your 100 gold, and there's like a lockbox there that they're working out of, and they give you essentially like a note, like a promissory note of what you have bet on and how much and what the payout would be, which Katie doesn't know, but we can figure out, like I said. And then you're set to go unless you have anything else you'd like to say to them.
Nope, but I will be, like, if they're updating the odds, like if it's like a chalkboard that they update, I'll be taking note of it, because my expectation is that Wampum is favored, and the warning that we got from Ryman is that the unexpected misfortune would befall a place that had the influence of Bashaba. So so long as wampum continues to be favored, I won't do anything. But if wampum is no longer favored before the fight starts, then I will put money on the other guy.
Gotcha. Okay. It's as you were talking to them, just you're the sort of person who is always looking for rumors and things like that, and you're pretty good at reading people as a result. And it seems like they were largely undecided because just at a glance, they both look like capable individuals. And while they were slightly familiar with the name of one more, that doesn't necessarily mean anything. And then it was kind of like oh, surely he's the one that's favored. And they kind of do that, like look at each other and nod sort of thing. So you think you might have maybe had like a slight influence on that, perhaps. Okay. And you're able to take up do you think there's like stadium seating type stuff out here, Ryman, or is it just like stand on the ground, everybody's free to watch?
Yeah, I think it's stand on the ground. I think it's just everybody kind of crowding around. It's ground level. It's not a raised fighting pit at all. So yeah, it's affordable. It's grungy.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay. So they're basically, the other individual is like, they're ready to go, and they kind of glance over at you, Ryman, because you had kind of like announced what was going on. They don't say anything, but they kind of like nod as if they're ready to go.
Well, Challenger, what is your name? Who stands against Wampum Thunderbelly?
You may call me Bashir.
All right, challenging Wampum Thunderbelly, Bashir, the elf. All right, place your bets. The match begins in 10. They do have a little bell as Ryman walks out. He does pat Wampum on the shoulder and goes, "Best of luck," and places his bet of 20 gold on Wampum.
All right. And there are other people that have approached to make bets. The two people working the stand, the attendants, are writing out notes, taking the gold. They've already got the odds written up there, so everybody kind of knows what is going on in the next few minutes before it begins. If anyone wants to do anything in particular, let me know. If not, we can fast forward to that. I guess like Gnoss and Kale, you guys just let me know when you come back out. You just kind of pop in and let me know when you're all done. So if there's anything else in particular anybody wants to do, great. If not, we'll get the fight started.
Ding ding.
Ding ding. All right. How do you kick it off? You just ring the bell?
Yeah.
Get at it? Okay.
The table with the accountant and everything has a bell with little hammer, hits it, fight starts. Okay.
Yeah. So you and you Wampum and the other individual, you've had your time to kind of like stretch and warm up and get yourself like in the mood. Have you been singing the whole time, or did you just do it at the beginning?
I did it at the beginning, and then as we were warming up, I'm going to take 1 minute and look over this guy to use Wampum's fighting ability called Know Thy Enemy.
Perfect. Yeah, and that gives you that gives you like their AC, their HP, and their.
I can choose 2 of them.
Okay.
Strength score, dex score, con score, armor class, current HP, total levels, and total class fighting levels. So I will use it on the current HP and their total levels.
Their total levels. Okay. Their current HP is 78. Their total levels 8.
Okay.
So you know that going into it. And then ding ding, roll initiative.
Initiative is 9 plus 7, 16.
Remember, Wampum, if you lose, you'll never live it down.
Taslin says, as this person rolls a 20 and it gets the drop on you. So, let's see here.
I do want to make the point that Ryman is standing in Wampum's corner, just to establish that.
Gotcha. Does that have any impact on him, or is that more of like a moral support sort of thing?
As of right now, it's morale and moral support. We'll see how this goes.
Okay, perfect. How big is the fighting ring?
How big is the standard fighting ring?
I would say probably like 20 by 20.
That's what I was
sounds
thinking.
reasonable.
Yeah.
And your aura is 10 feet, right?
Yes.
Okay, I'm assuming that's why we were establishing that. Okay.
A couple auras, maybe something else.
Yeah. Perfect. So they're going to go first. Let's see here. That means we've got. So they come at you, swinging. What is your armor class without your armor? So it's 10 plus your dex.
Be 12.
12. Do you have any like rings of protection or anything that increases that?
Oh, hold on. Equipment.
Okay.
Let's see. No rings. Nope.
Okay. So this person, surprisingly quickly, they sort of like drop down into a fighting position, and as you start to approach them, they manage to kind of like sidestep around where you were expecting them to be and make a couple of punches at you. The first one, you take 18 points of damage from.
Okay.
And the second one, you take 12 points of damage from.
Okay.
And then it is your turn. They get these 2 punches in on you. One, you are able to kind of like block it with your arm a bit. So instead of getting you right into the ribs where it would have been like particularly harmful, they kind of like hit the meat of your arm, but the impact of it is solid. This is not a person that's necessarily very strong, but they know how to hit a person to get the like maximum impact from it.
Okay.
And then the second one, as they see your arm in the way, they kind of like take a step around and are able to hit you kind of like in the back and the shoulder blade, and it jars you a little bit. And it's not obviously very uncomfortable, and they're kind of like to the side of you now.
All right. I am. Let's see. I'm going to nod my head at him and then slowly go in for the first swing, which is 19.
Okay. That one will hit. Go ahead and roll your damage.
Well, it would be 1 plus my strength.
Mm-hmm.
Which is going to be 6, but then I want them to make a strength saving throw of a DC 18.
Okay, this should be good. Oof, natural 20 actually.
Okay.
Sorry.
They are going to take another 10 points of damage, but they are not tripped. I tried to sweep his feet from out from under him.
Okay.
And then the second attack is going to be a nat 20.
Ooh, all right.
So I will again have him roll a DC 18 strength save.
Okay. See if my luck keeps up on this one. Ha, no, definitely not.
So I tripped him.
Okay.
And he is going to take, that would be 6 plus 12, so be 18 points of damage.
Okay.
And then my third attack would be at advantage for, that's going to be a 24.
You hit.
And what I'm going to do is, I want him to make another DC 18 strength check as I pretty much drop kick him across the ring.
Ooh. Okay, and then it says DC 18, right?
Yep.
Okay, they just barely are able to avoid that, and you're going to make this like kick at them essentially, and push them back, and you feel it start to connect, and then it's like they are able to shift and change the momentum where they kind of like spin around away from you instead of like taking the brunt of that and being pushed away.
And he's going to take 14 points of damage.
Okay. He looks really roughed up.
and then I'll back up and I'll just wave you forward.
You do this thing? I love it. He kind of like wipes the blood off of his face and does one of those like leans back and like jumps up onto his feet where they like kick it in the air and land on their feet. And he kind of like takes a couple of steps, like making a circle around you again and changes directions. And he makes like a little bit of a cautious approach. Oh my God, you have a wampum bear.
That's what I was pointing at.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. Okay. And so we're going to make one attack. Oof, yep, that one hits. Okay. You're going to take an additional 17 points of damage from that one.
Okay.
And I need you to make a con save.
That would be a 16 plus 11, 27.
Okay.
Plus 3, actually.
I love it. So you feel this attack hit you. Gracie, stop it. She's playing with my door stopper. Gracie! No. Sorry. You feel this hit you, and it's like there's reverberation that like flows through your body, and it starts to kind of almost like tickle the back of your eyeballs and cause your brain to be a little bit fuzzy. And there's just like this energy from behind you and like the strength of your presence as well. And as you start to kind of like fight through the haze that this punch like to the core that shouldn't have impacted your mind gives you, there's also this sort of like warm assurance from behind you somewhere that like you've got this and you are easily able to avoid that. They're going to make an additional attack at you. Ooh, critical. Okay. 9. So that one's going to be 32 points of damage.
Okay.
And then we're going to make a third attack. Oof, that one is only a 10, so that one misses. So they
with that 10, I am going to use my repost attack.
Okay.
For that would be a 17 plus 7, so it'd be 24.
24 damage or to hit?
24 to hit.
Oh yeah, that definitely hits.
And
You hear Ryman behind you going, "Come on, Wampum, you're gonna eat lightning and crap Thunderbelly."
Lightning and crap Thunderbelly, I love it.
And I will use my... I will use another trip attack.
Okay.
If he would roll a DC 18.
Ooh, exactly an 18 again.
So that'd be 14 points of damage, but he does not trip.
Okay. Okay. So he makes that first attack, and that like brain fuzziness kind of like tickles the back of your eyeballs, and it goes away. And as that's happening, you can see like the slight bit of disappointment in his face, but he comes up with his offhand, and he elbows you right directly in the nose, and that was the critical hit. And you can just like, you feel the crunch a little bit of that, and there's like that taste of blood that runs down and into your mouth from your nose. And then as they they try to whirl around and make like a slam to the back of your head, you're able to just kind of like duck out of the way and like lean back into them basically. And although they manage to like gain their composure, they're definitely like off kilter a little bit. And now it is your turn.
I will. Well, that was a nat 1, but I am going to use a re-roll from full.
Okay.
For a 15 plus 7, 22 to hit.
Okay. Yep, that'll hit.
But this time, since he's close to me, I am going to grapple him.
Ooh, all right. I make an opposing strength check, right?
Yes. So
Okay.
my strength roll would be a 29.
I don't think. Okay. So
You can do an athletics or acrobatics check. Contested.
athletics. Well, so I've never rolled so well in my life. It was a natural 20, but I think like even with the acrobatics, it's only a 26, but it's a natural 20. I'll say, since Raw, this is the only time that can happen is in combat, that you like feel like you have a solid grip on him, but he managed to like halfway worm his way out, where like you're clearly stronger and you've basically still got like one of his arms pinned, but he's not fully grappled. So if you wanted to try again, you'd have advantage.
Okay, I will use my second attack to reinforce that grab. And with advantage, I rolled a 1 and a nat 20.
So when you take the attack action, that eats up your multiple attacks. But I think, can you grapple as a man? High-level fighters. So you get how many attacks per action? 3, right? Or you get 2 attacks per action, and then you're using your offhand as well?
No, I get 3 attacks, and my offhand's my 4th.
Your 4th. Okay. So using your attack action to grapple negates your additional attacks. So you'd be able to make... It does not? Is that not how fighters work? Just kidding. Okay, so natural 20. So I have to roll a natural 20. And I definitely don't. So now he is grappled. I thought grapple was your attack action. My bad.
You can replace any of your attacks with like a grapple or a shove or.
Okay, cool. I play bards. I don't know how that works.
And then as my last attack.
So you have advantage because he's grappled.
As my last attack, I am going to grab him around the neck and try to choke him out.
All right.
If I have advantage on the roll, that would be... I'm rolling pretty damn well as well. I just rolled an 18 and a 19. So, that would hit, and however you want to work, trying to just choke him out. Not hurting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like subdual kind of damage. I would say go ahead and just roll damage for this round, because that's going to be the like crushing action of your like massive bicep crushing down on his like throat and restricting the oxygen to his brain. And then we'll see what happens next round as he's like, what?
Let's see. That would be... let's see if I have any ability that would... All right. I take it since I grabbed him around the neck.
Okay.
He's probably trying to move my arm out of the way. So could I use a disarming attack to fight away that arm that's trying to get in between me and choking him?
You know what? Yeah, do it.
So he would need to roll a 18 strength check to move my arm away.
Okay. So what he was doing, you could feel his body tense up, and being a seasoned fighter, he knows that the idea of pulling your arm away is that's not going to be effective in trying to break this sort of grapple, especially since he knows he's got limited time with it cutting off the oxygen to his brain. So what he was attempting to do is he kind of hunched down a little bit. You could feel his muscles tense up, and you think he was likely going to try to jump up because he's taller than you and end up flipping over behind you so that you wouldn't be able to keep hold of it. And you see that happening, and you are able to kind of kick one of his feet out from under him. So it slides flat out, and he would only have the one leg to jump off of. And he's like, ugh! You can hear the grunt as you do this.
And that would be 6 plus 8 damage, so 14.
Oof. Okay. And as that's happening, you're basically watching the sort of rosiness that accompanies an elfin creature who is full of this sort of immortal life. Kind of the color is draining from his cheeks a little bit, and he's one of his eyes is all purple and swollen, and he's got blood coming out of the corner of his mouth. You think he's missing a tooth, maybe, because there's a shadow there that you kind of caught a glimpse of as you looked over at his face when he was trying to break this grapple.
And I'm just going to whisper in his ear as I'm there, it's time to go to sleep.
So it rolls over to his turn, and he hears you say this, and he kind of, the Dark One sends our regards. And you feel his form kind of shrink, almost it feels like, as it pulls in on itself almost. And there's this rush of really cold wind, and basically everyone around is this gasp of what just happened. And
was he casting a spell when he did that? Because if so, I think Tazlin would have counterspelled it.
It is not a spell.
Okay.
And he reappears on the other side of the ring in the far corner. And when he does, the purple eyes resolved. The blood on his face is there no longer. The colors return to his cheeks. And he grabs a dagger. He leans down into his boot, grabs a dagger, and hurls it at you underhanded as he turns to exit into break through the crowd, essentially.
Can I do something real quick? I don't think I can stop the dagger, but can I do something, I guess, after the throw?
Yeah. If you have any reaction abilities, anything you want to do. You've all been spectating and watching, so any reactions you have, you immediately have accessible to you, of course. And then if you would like to pursue or whatever, then we'll resolve that as soon as I make this attack.
I think I want to abjure enemy, so that is a wisdom saving throw of DC 15.
Okay.
And fiends and undead have disadvantage in case he's one of those.
Okay. So this dagger comes hurling through the air at you, Wampum, and it sinks directly into your leg.
Okay.
You take 7 points of damage, piercing damage,
Yep.
20 points of poison damage, and
So
then go ahead.
that would be half that poison since I'm resistant.
Yep, duels. And then you're going to take an additional 14 points of damage from piercing damage from that as well.
Gotcha. And when I see the dagger coming, I'm going to reach out, and then I'm going to summon my blast axe to my hand.
Okay. Yeah. That's the one that's Thor style comes to you, right? Yeah.
And then I'm going to throw it into the back of his head.
Okay. So first, Ryman and Tazlin, because you have your reactions available to you.
So
do you have any reactions?
I will Misty Step as a reaction to go 30 feet towards this guy.
Okay.
Because my goal is not exactly to catch up to him, but at least get line of sight on him so that when I can take an action, I can blast him with magic.
Okay. So he reappeared on the other side, which was 25-ish feet away at a diagonal. He moved 30 feet. You Misty Step 30 feet. He's only 25 feet away from you.
Okay.
So you're pretty close. You're within spell distance, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then is what you're doing is not a reaction, it's an action, Ryman?
It is, yeah.
Ote. You and Taslin roll initiative, and Lefkadio, if there's anything like you'd like to do that you'd like to add to this, or if you would also plan to act at this juncture in the chaos, then you can. You also don't have to. Well, up to you, but if you would like to, go ahead and roll initiative, and then I think we'll take our break. Woo-hoo.
I rolled initiative just in case.
Okay.
Mine was
17.
15.
17. Okay. Has 17. Lefkadio 15. They had 20. And one of them had like 12 or something.
I had a 16.
16. Oh, you're ahead of Lefkadio then. I didn't put up the turn tracker initially because I didn't want to give anything away. So, just handwriting it down. And what was your roll, Ryman? Your initiative roll?
18.
18. Okay. All right. And with that, we'll break, and we'll be back to resolve this in just a few minutes, everyone. Hey-o.
Bye.
Stick around. Hello, everyone. Thank you for waiting with us. Waiting for us? Waiting for us. Well, we were sitting here at different intervals waiting for us. Anyway, I think Carl's got some things to say, and then we'll jump back into it.
Yes, thank you, Katie. Before we head back to the stream, I want to give a special thanks to our sponsors at Campaign Coins. They are great human beings who make really great metal coins and other RPG accessories. You can check them out at campaigncoins.com or on Twitter at campaigncoins. If you're enjoying the folks on the screen or the folks in chat, you can get even more of us or them on the Discord server. Subscribers and Patreon patrons get special perks when they join, so come on down. Lastly, be sure to follow us on the Twitters because that's where you get all the latest news and alerts for shows and events that's open for adventure. And that is it. I guess also acknowledge the generous folks in chat as well.
Yes, thank you. Every time you read the thing about campaign coins, I forget until you read it that I actually, at Gen Con last year, when they did their, when the main Ofray group did their live show and they had a little giveaway, I won the coins and I have them sitting on a shelf over here. And every time I'm like, I should get those and be like, haha, campaign coins. And then I forget every time until you say it. And that's why every time you're like, campaign coins, I look over and I'm like, I can't reach it. There's no way to do that without having to actually get up. So every single time. Anyway, so jumping back into it. First is this elven individual. They are going to, no one is within 5 feet of them. So they're just gonna make a break for it.
And Katie, am I able to send the sending spell?
Yes, I forgot. So
okay.
Taslin had essentially been holding an action on the instance of something going wrong to send Gnoss and let her know something was up. So what are your 25 words?
I've got to be picky with these words. Do I know that Kale and Gnoss are together?
You all know that they went to the vaults, but you don't know where they've been since then.
Okay. I'm sending it to Gnoss. Get your fantastic looking hair, you're welcome by the way, to the central room under attack. Wampum got stabbed. Mm-hmm. Going ham now. Does TTYL count as one? Can I use that as an acronym?
I'll say that that's a one word as an acronym,
so,
yeah.
TTYLK.
TTYL Lilas.
Roller coaster as always.
I love it. Yeah, so Gnoss, whatever it is that you're currently engaged in, you get this message. Do you respond? You can. You can respond to this message.
No, I'm not going to respond because I just look at Kale and I'm like, Wampum stabbed, shit's going down, we gotta go. Wait. And I fish a point out of his hair. Okay, all right, let's go.
I love it. Yeah, so with that is what happened before the start of this round. And now they're going to book it. And they run 60 feet, basically like off into the city, because this was already established that the fighting pits were kind of like outside of the sort of like main area. So it's already on like the outskirts of this entire celebration. And they're basically like booking it off. At this point, several hours have passed. I want to say it's basically like dusk at this juncture. So like fading light, it's a city. So it's not like, oh my gosh, it's so dark you can't see them. But it's like getting on into the evening, and they're basically like running off into the busy evening city. And then it's going to be Ryman's turn. So they are 80 feet. Wait, no. Oh my god. You were 20 feet, and then they moved 30 feet, and then they just moved 60 feet. You're 110 feet away from them.
Okay. Okay. Well, what is my... Let me see my range on something real quick. Okay, I am going to use my 30 feet of movement to get closer, and then I am going to cast Hunter's Mark as a bonus action.
Okay.
And... What's that?
I said, ooh, Vengeance Paladin.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm going to actually cast that at 3rd level, so I can maintain concentration for up to 8 hours. And then I am going to use my, I guess, action at that point, because I think I'm too far for everything else. I'm going to yell back to one of the attendants, go get my glaive, catch up.
Yeah, there's like there's a young initiate that has recently joined up, and they've been kind of like shadowing you to kind of like get the day-to-day of what's going on, and they're hopeful to join your organization. So they're not like a squire, but they're kind of in that sort of like vein, and they had been kind of like following you around, and they take off running. And it would be in your room?
Yeah, it was hanging behind his desk. It's okay. The glaive that was hanging horizontal behind his seat.
Okay. Yeah, they take off running with purpose. So then it is Taslin's turn.
All right, so I'm going to move 30 feet closer to where this guy went. Then I'm going to bonus action use my racial feature to teleport 30 additional feet, putting me at like 50 feet away.
You were only 30 feet away at first, so you were 90 after they moved. You are now only 30 feet away again if you use both of those.
Okay, so I will do that, and then I'm going to cast a wonderful spell once I find out which level it is, because I forget.
Okay.
It is, I'm going to cast, you know what, let's go crazy. I haven't done this spell. I want to roll some dice. I'm going to upcast at 8th level Scorching Ray.
Okay. What is that, like 11 beams or something?
That is 9 beams, I believe.
All right. Sweet. You're a very, very skilled wizard. People see you coming, and they definitely aren't trying to get in your way. So we'll say that you have a clear line of shot at this individual now that you've kind of like moved and used your abilities, and you don't have to worry about like civilians with these rays of fire shooting out or anything like that. So go ahead and roll your 9
all right.
bursts of flame.
Because I am 20 plus 10. 28, a 15, a 17, a 12, a 21. Someone keep count, please. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So a 21, a 24, a 21, and 18. I'm assuming the 12 misses, I'm assuming the 15 misses, and I'm assuming the 17 probably misses.
They reappeared, and it doesn't look like they have any armor on. So the only one that misses is the 12.
Okay, so that is 8 of them. And how many? It's 2d6, right? It's been forever since I cast this spell.
So
many spells.
16d6.
Yeah. For 55 damage.
Okay. They are still awake, but so you move a little bit. You use your ability to kind of like teleport closer to them, and then just this absolute geyser of flame, like almost like one of those firecrackers, like the cakes that you put on the ground and light, and it just kind of like goes and goes and goes, and there's like individual flares that go up. It's like that. And they are wholly encompassed. There's like one that's just a little bit too outside of sort of the main area of their body to actually like touch them, but the other 8 make solid contact, and you feel quite satisfied with that. It was 55 altogether? Yeah, okay.
Yep.
They are not looking very happy about that. And then it is Wampum's turn.
Wampum will go ahead and walk up his 25 feet. And since Taslin has made a nice avenue for me to throw at him, I'm going to throw my 3 times.
Okay. What is the range on your blast axe?
120 feet.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Oh, let me see. That is a plus 12. So the lowest I got is 17.
Yeah. You good? All of them hit.
And that is going to be... Oh, that kind of sucked on a roll. That was a total of 9, but 9 and 21 is 30 points of damage.
All right. So with the first hit, describe how you fell this creature.
I was actually trying to trip him to keep him from running.
Okay.
But he kind of pissed me off. So instead of hitting the leg, I hit him right dead smack in the spine and the lower back.
Oof. Okay. Go ahead, yeah.
I just kind of, if it didn't cut him in half, it sure made him look kind of different.
Yeah. With that much damage, you see it like connect, and you can see the axe sink in deeply enough to essentially like sever the spine. And as the top, like the bottom half of their body essentially like loses mobility and they collapse, like face first into the ground. They're unable to even like catch themselves, and you just see this person like topple over and like face plant hard into the stone.
And then I'll walk back and I'll put my tunic on, and I'll put my belt on, and then I'll put my axe on my back again, and I'll just look at the attendants that are around them. Say, well, he shouldn't have run.
All of the attendants were a little bit like frozen, but they were standing near the lockbox, so they hadn't left or anything, but they certainly weren't like engaging, and they just kind of look fearful. Most of the crowd has like backed away and are kind of like gawking from around corners and such, and they just like are looking at you. Like they don't look like they're scared of you. They just look like they're surprised at what happened, like impressed a little bit, also probably a little fearful, but not like they're terrified of you suddenly, more just like this was super unexpected.
So what does the purse look like?
As they like perish, they don't change in appearance in any way. They have on like dark breeches, dark boots. The hair had like come untied from the movement of them running, so it's kind of like loose about them. Their features are completely gaunt at this point. Like,
so how much was in the purse?
Oh, the gambling purse.
are you asking? Like, who are you asking?
The person standing over top the box.
Oh, okay.
Katie, for math reasons, I think if it was 3-2, it should be their original earnings plus 60%.
Okay. That makes sense then. So they look at you, and you didn't bet on yourself. So they look a little bit confused at first, and they're like, well, you're the victor, so anyone who bet on you.
Well, I was just wondering.
And they're like flipping through like a book where they had been like recording the total bets, and they like kind of like estimate about how much it would be all told for everyone, and it's like well over 1,000 gold.
And I'll look to where Tazlin and Lefcardio are.
I think Tazlin's dragging half the torso back to the temple.
Gotcha.
Yeah, there's some attendants helping you.
Oh yeah.
Actually, Ryman yells to a couple of them to get manacles.
Oh, I mean, if they're helping me, they can do the carrying. I'll just observe.
They've got it. This is part of the training. Got to carry a lot of dead bodies in this.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, so
I guess I can waste a sending spell to Gnoss. So as I'm walking back from my quick 60-foot jaunt, send Gnoss. It's okay now. They're dead. No, you can do whatever you want. Have fun. I don't know. I have half a corpse. Any good ideas?
As you do that, Gnoss comes sliding out from the back room like she's got socks on the marble floor, friggin' risky business style. Scream! And she's got her glaive in hand, and she's running for Wampum.
Actually, we're going to do a little interrogation. If you'd like to be in on it, you're more than welcome.
Oh, that sounds so exciting and delightful. I would love that.
Fantastic. He's going to have the attendants put manacles on the hands and feet of the corpse. And he's going to go ahead and cast Revivify and bring it back with 1 hit point.
Okay. So are you planning on kind of like pulling them around to the side, or just getting like the rest of the attendants to like kind of like, everybody go back to the party, or are you just like chill with everybody sitting around watching this?
There are cells down near the vault, so the attendants will be taking the elf down there. But yeah, other than that, he's back to the party, everybody. A little bit of blood never scared anyone. Come on.
Yeah, a couple people actually looked like, whoa, that was cool. Like, most everybody was like a little unsettled, and there were just a few people on the side who were like, yeah, blood sport. So they didn't look fazed.
What happened?
He ran.
You can handle that. I don't want to waste another sending spell.
So we'll say they dragged the body back into one of these cells. They've got manacles on their arms and feet. Who's going with Ryman for the interrogation? I'm assuming Gnoss. That's why you're doing the what happened, or are you talking to Tazlin?
I'm talking to anyone who will answer me. I definitely feel like an odd man out right now.
Is your makeup smudged?
No, I've got your seaming on me.
Yeah.
I look fucking perfect.
Not a hair out of place.
Yeah, not a hair out of place.
So like a coin stuck to your back.
So
you can't see it though.
Awesome. Yeah. So awesome for you to join us. We're going to question this dead body, or is it alive now?
It's back to 1 hit point, so it's technically alive now.
Yeah, I was establishing whether or not it was happening out in the open. So this is like anyone who wants to accompany them. They've been taken back to the cell. Ryman's able to revivify them.
I would yell, "Don't start without me!" And I walk up to the counter and I said, "Here's my ticket."
Oh yeah, on your way out, and they take it. They take a look at it, and they hand you 160 gold. That's pretty straightforward, easily enough. Oh, right. And
I declare this temple free of Bashaba's influence. Congratulations.
Thank you. We think.
Grab the coins and I walk away.
Yeah.
While we're walking down there with the body, I want to peruse the crowd to see, maybe not necessarily to see if anyone's watching us, because we're cool dudes. People are watching us. But to see if there may be like people in cahoots.
Gotcha. Okay, make a perception check as you make your way back.
Nat 20. But what is my percent? Oh, 27 total.
Woohoo! 27 total. So you take a look around. The people on the far end, like all this happened so quickly that like the other side of the party didn't even really know what was going on because it's so spread out. And you can see that like the whispers kind of like move across as the people who were watching and had initially shouted kind of like are filling everyone in on like the excitement or the events that transpired. You see several people that are wearing like similar dark clothing. It's hard to say whether or not they're in cahoots, but after kind of like scanning over the crowd and like identifying a few people that you like initially think might be suspect, go ahead and make like an insight check for me to see if you can like read their reaction to what happened.
That is an 11 plus. That was insight?
Mm-hmm.
That's a 13.
Okay, so the person was wearing kind of like nondescript clothing. You hadn't taken like a close look at that you've said as you were like watching them like drag him back, his like corpse back at the time. Nobody has gone to like look at any of the stuff that he's taken off of yet, so you don't necessarily know what you're looking for. You see that like look like they're like dressed in dark clothing, like might be somebody that could be doing something nefarious. Hard to gauge whether or not anyone else is involved like at this particular, unless you have like more information to go off of.
Nope, that's all I was looking for is cahoots. So I'll just go with them to interrogate the prisoner.
Okay, so while I'm interested in them dragging off a person that I don't recognize and such, I am very peeved at the lack of immediate information. So without knowing what's happening and having all of us strong swingers going back to a hole in the back of the temple, I'm going to do a thing. I'm going to get up next to the statue of Timora, the big, great, beautiful golden woman. I will stand at her feet and I will put my foot on the fountain, and then I'm going to extend my wings and use Radiant Soul. And I will like gloriously and purposefully and in a very controlled way rise to where I am between her face and everybody else that's at the party. And in my best like kill thaumaturgy voice, try to say, "Let it be known, this temple is protected. All Bishabans may flee now without recourse. If you remain, you will be discovered and you will be punished." And then it's a pause, and I'll say, "Party on."
Party on Weird and party on Girth. Were you doing that like on the way back as well? You kind of like nobody answered you immediately. They all start to head to the back, and you're like, "I'm doing."
I can't leave this party the way that it is right now. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm attempting to intimidate everybody that's not supposed to be here. Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead and make an intimidation roll with the wings. I'll say with advantage. And Talzin, go ahead and roll your insight again. To see if, like, the fear that Gnoss could potentially be striking into anyone's hearts might give you a little bit more insight into what they might be thinking.
I got a 26.
Nice.
I have a 18.
Gnoss, you're looking out, and you see, like, everyone looks impressed. Everyone looks like the sort of, like, awe, like the biblical awe, where it's, like, fear and like, excitement and intrigue all, like, mixed in together, and it's just, like, a wondrous sight. And it feels really, like it's satisfying. But also you feel like just, like, glancing over the crowd, you can tell that you have struck a chord. It is not difficult to see, like, passive insight, even of just a 10. That's pretty easy to see that the entire crowd is impacted by this and has stopped to look at you, cards still in hand, chips half dropped on table, sort of thing. And Tazlin, you had pinpointed a few people that you thought just like general description of somebody who might be up to no good they could meet. And at first you looked at them and thought, there's really nothing that I can tell about their actions that like gives me an indication that they have like further plans for tonight. And Gnoss goes over and makes a stunning display that you can actually like, no, I'm not gonna make you roll like to not be intimidated, but it's one of those things where you watch it and you're like, okay. And you glance back at the crowd and do like another quick scan, and you look at those individuals. And while a few of them just like happen to be people that might have been like in dark clothing at the time, and while they might like look like they're up to no good, this is just who they are, and they look like pressed upon, but not like, oh, I better leave. There are two people that you see. One is at one of the craps tables, and one is over by one of the like food and drink sort of areas. And they watch this happen, and you can see a glance from across the area as the two of them like make eyes, and they both kind of like take a step like away from the people that they had been engaging with, and start to like there are these columns and stuff outside that were already described, and they essentially kind of like take a few steps back because they were on the outskirts, slide around one of the sides of the column, and you see one slide around the side of the column, and then you see this one slide around the side and disappear in a similar fashion to the person that had been killed, how they had done during the altercation, like the battle with Wampum. And you don't see that one reappear anywhere.
Okay, so I will convey that to Gnoss.
Okay. When you're finished, I'm assuming you're like party on, and then you kind of like head to follow everyone else, Gnoss?
Yeah, and I'll catch her like right before she joins the...
Okay.
I keep my wings out though, just to nail the point home.
For sure.
Wampum will go up and put a hand on Lithcardio's shoulder. Well, you want to buy me a drink with that?
I think the drink's free. It's an open bar. But sure, I'll toss the 60 gold into the fountain as we pass it.
Nice. It makes several splashing sounds, and it feels satisfying.
Now that I've done my job of casting a spell, I can retire for the night, right? I can just get drunk.
You're more than welcome to do whatever you like. We are going to have an interrogation of our strange friend there, so you're more than welcome to join, and I suppose you're more than welcome to do both, really.
Is there a nearby, like, bottle of wine?
Oh,
there were trays with drinks everywhere.
I just grab a full
back.
bottle, and I'm just going to carry it with me. I did my job.
And Wampum is going to grab a mug of Thunderbelly, and then he's going to ask one of the attendants to say, is there a place where I can get these holes plugged?
The one that you're speaking to, one of the ones that's holding one of the trays, it's this young human woman. The city is mostly populated with humans, and she's got like red curly hair, and she's freckled. She looks like she's probably in her like early 20s. For humans, it's a little hard to gauge because dwarves live so much longer than humans. And she kind of looks down. Of course. Here, hold this. And she hands you the whole tray, and then you see her like take out a holy symbol of Timora, and she puts her hand on you, and she casts Cure Wounds. She's going to do it at a 3rd level. So you get like 16 hit points back, but it does like it stops the bleeding kind of thing.
It fills the holes.
Yeah, exactly. You're still hurting.
Ryman's going to come over and pat you on the shoulder and go, that was an excellent fight, and well done finishing it. And as he's patting on the shoulder, he is going to cast Lay on Hands and use his 60 hit points.
60, wow.
So does that get you back up to full, or did you get hit more than that?
5 out of 199, but I can use my second wind and get me that 7. That'll get me 22 more. Which I'm fine.
I've heard of axe halved, but that guy really got axe halved. And then I start chugging. Right from the ball, just swigging as we walk.
Okay. So now you can all easily make your way down into the vaults and pick up where they're manacled and revived now with their 1 HP.
Yeah, it's a totally sealed stone room with vault-like door on it. Who's all down there?
Wampum will follow you down after you do the little hands-on.
Yep. Cousin's there.
I'm there eventually.
Yeah, everybody kind of like trickles in like moment by moment. But basically by the time you've been able to like get everything set up, everyone has kind of like trickled in. You've taken the second to like top Wampum off hit point wise and continue on.
All right. I guess when we go in, I should let you know that we have a specific type of interrogation. Do remember that this individual was already dead, and they are incredibly close to it again, so hands-off approach is probably best until at least we're finished questioning. And I will be utilizing a zone of truth, so if you do not want to risk saying the truth, I would suggest maybe staying out here.
Question.
Yes.
What is it that, like, I get that the guy like cheated in the fight, but why are we interrogating him?
He threw a knife at your friend and then ran away.
Right,
I mean,
yeah,
that's more than cheating. That's at least an assassination, and anybody who would do something like that is at least somebody who needs to be questioned. Wampum, do you have anything? Did he say anything? Did you, or was he just an asshole?
He did say something. I whispered in his ear, and then he whispered something back about, and I forgot what you said, Katie.
Like to the effect of like through his like kind of like constrained throat, like the Dark One sends her regards. That's kind of what it sounded like.
Okay. But I can't, for the life of me, I can't remember what he said.
Is that a Shatter Kai?
I think it is because he kind of teleported out of my grip.
That's a good tell.
Wampum, mate, I don't take part in many pit fights, but is whispering in each other's ears, is that a normal thing? Is that part of it? That I wouldn't have expected that, really.
I was just letting him know that it's time to go to sleep.
It's a surprise, is all.
Sensual shit talk is actually quite common with Cadio.
Noted. All right, yeah, let's go ask some questions. I'm quite good at impersonations. Do you want me to be anyone or anything? You know, just for giggles, or we're just gonna play this straight?
Well, he wasn't alone. I assume two of his compatriots slipped off shortly after the whole glowing wing debacle.
Wonderful. Well, we'll have to keep an eye out for them. And Lucario, as far as being someone else, that is 100% dependent on whether you can beat the zone of truth. I would say if you don't, please don't. It will be impossible, but it will also be hurtful to try. It would hurt a lot to try and lie.
All right. Well,
Wampum does pull out the dagger that he pulled out of his leg.
Oh, that's a very nice dagger.
It is.
I'm sure it hurt quite a lot.
I might want to return it to its owner.
Oh, I mean, that would only be polite.
I thought it would be, but after the interrogation, I'll wait to give it back to him.
That is your prerogative. All right, and he'll open the door, and he will cast Zone of Truth over the area of the cell.
I'll stand in the zone of truth.
All right.
So that is a charisma saving throw of 15 for anybody who is in the Zone of Truth.
I will.
That's
walk,
10.
And actually,
I will walk in and choose to fail.
okay, I was going to say, because you're all within 10 feet and your friends, you do get a +3 bonus to all saving throws. So if you want to use it
Nice.
for that again.
13. Still fail.
Okay, still fail.
I passed with flying colors, but I don't care.
Okay.
So this person is lying on the ground, barely awake. They're having a little bit of trouble focusing with their eyes at first. And as you approach and you cast this spell, Ryman, you can tell whether or not they pass or fail, correct?
Yes.
They succeed.
Okay. All right. Well, just so everyone here knows, unfortunately, this individual seems to be terribly charismatic and is able to lie. So take everything you hear with a grain of salt. And
As well as all.
okay, I wouldn't know that.
Yeah.
So if you have questions, I'll let you lead off. They're not going anywhere, so I have time to ask mine.
I'm gonna sit down next to them and put my arm around their shoulders. Just to be there, right there.
Still have your wings?
No, they would have once I entered
minute,
the cell area, I would have done like a little shiver and all the feathers kind of fall and dissipate into nothing.
Okay. I'll say they still saw that though, and there's like an eyebrow quirk. And there's like that obstinance that comes with someone who knows, like the cornered animal sort of instinct of like something who's going to fight, even though it knows that it's like doomed essentially. And you kind of like come in casually and you sit down next to them and you put their arm over them and there's this like tensing up.
I give him a big old smooch on the cheek. You're my friend now.
Directly, that means Kale has smooched them.
Allegedly.
A quick note about Zone of Truth. You have to repeat the saving throw at the start of every turn if you're in it. So eventually, I imagine, anyone would fail, basically.
Probably.
So I will ask Gnoss. No one that you know?
This? No.
Yeah.
I suppose we can start with the pleasantries. What's your name?
I'd say about 6 seconds pass at this point, and that second roll there was a 2. So you feel the Zone of Truth take hold, Ryman. I don't have a name.
You don't have a name. Where are you from, then?
This plane.
It's fair, we're not all here from this plane. What was your goal coming here tonight?
To bring misfortune.
Who do you serve?
I think you know.
Well, maybe? Maybe.
Seems to be what they believe.
Yeah, that's fair. I was on a roll and then I totally lost it. How many of your compatriots and allies are here tonight?
Here at the party?
Here at the party and here within the city.
Beyond my count in the city. I do not know. There were 4 here at the party.
Ask him how high he can count.
Red wine or white? No. When you died, what did you see?
Dirt.
avoid.
Then you know what you'll be returning to if you aren't helpful.
I'll return there either way.
Oh, there's this. Oh, I can't. No, that's the truth. There is this wonderful spell that has been known to put people in a stasis for thousands of years, or for however long needed. You may not return there. That would be the sequester spell, which I don't have, so that's why I had to rephrase to be truthful.
Yeah. They're going to... There's like this like narrowing of eyes and kind of like pursing of lips that makes you like gives you the impression that this is something that they didn't like to hear.
Oh, well, I'm getting bored. So I'll leave it to someone else to question you. Unless you can provide me something interesting that I can work with, then I don't think we need to keep talking. Or at least you don't need to talk to me. And believe you me, I think I'm the one who cares the least in the stakes. And I have to tell the truth.
Just kill me.
Absolutely not. And I'm gonna walk away and finish my bottle and let someone else take over.
No, I think I got the gist, right? Bashaba's joined forces with the Shar in the war. That's what's up. And your footmen?
Bashaba and Shar.
No, this is just you? Is it just you doing your thing? Because that would honestly be a lot more impressive.
Lady of Misfortune. I don't know anything of another influence.
I'm gonna sniff their side of their face and see if I can perceive if they're being truthful there. Well, I guess they are. Would they have to be?
They have to be truthful. That doesn't mean they don't have to speak in like cryptic messages.
Okay. Yeah.
But they also don't have a compulsion to tell us anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's the first time I've seen Zone of Truth work in a game.
Yeah, so technically they don't actually have to. They can obfuscate, they can, as long as what they're saying is truthful, they don't actually have to answer any questions.
Okay. I was imagining that there would be some kind of, like, they could try, but it would hurt sort of situation.
Yeah, I mean, it's impossible. If they fail the save, it's impossible for them to tell a mistruth or even a half-truth, but they can also keep their mouth closed and just go,
It's like a liar-liar situation. The pin's
Gotcha.
going to be royal blue.
Well, I'm just gonna, like, tap him on the chest and be like, the size of your balls must be enormous.
Wise man not answering.
Hey,
That's questionable.
What's the lighting situation down here?
This is probably... Oh, that's a good question. I'm going to imagine that it's probably lit by lanterns, not open flame. And there's probably a single lantern hanging at the middle of the cell, just kind of draping light, but it could be removed.
Super interrogation style with like the one overhead light pointed at them, like
Yeah, it's swinging back and forth.
yeah, inexplicably.
No, he's gonna like enter the. I guess he's in a cell, right? That's what we were talking about. So he's in a cell. Kale will enter a cell, and he'll just kind of like sit down in the corner and like stare at the guy. But when he like at first he's looking down and he says a quick word under his breath, and it's a thaumaturgy spell, and he changes his eyes to make it look like he's blind. And he looks up and he just stares at the guy, and like he leans his staff of healing like over his shoulder, and he starts chanting, and he's just saying the thaumaturgy word over and over again, and he keeps changing the light gradient of the lantern, so like it goes from like orange to like red to green to stuff like that, and then every once in a while the ground rumbles for like a couple seconds, and then you hear like the cell starts to get filled with the sound of just like ominous whispering and no language. It's just noises. Kill's not gonna ask him anything. He's just gonna be a fucking creep.
Okay,
And
that's
just
fair.
the idea is to just kind of psych him out.
I'm out. Go ahead and make
Mom, I need to be picked up.
Go ahead and make an intimidation check with advantage after doing all that, and just kind of like staring at them with your glazed eyes.
Good thing it's at advantage. Let me just roll another one. Oh, that was so much better.
I've used all my good rolls already. They're gone. We're done.
You said intimidation? 19.
Their feet are manacled together, but they are like in front of them, and like the weight of your arm on them. Gnoss has them kind of like hunched down under it, just like you're a strong individual. And like as this is going on and the lights start to flicker different colors and the ground shakes a little bit, they like push against the wall like impotently. There's nowhere for them to scoot back, but that instinct to like press themselves as far away as possible like kicks in, and they're just kind of like shrinking back and trying to make themselves look small.
And I'm going to let him know he's preparing your final destination.
Send me.
Anybody got any questions?
You mentioned that there were 4 of you. I've seen 2 of your compatriots. Who is the final compatriot that was not at the card table and was it the roulette table?
Craps, I think.
Craps table.
We've all been moving around. I don't know.
What did your companions look like? And believe you me, if you answer this, I will put you into the void myself.
They like look thoughtful for a moment, and they describe a tiefling female who of note doesn't have any like horns, and they always wear like a headpiece, so it like conceals what like where they would protrude from their heads. They describe another elven person, a female, and then the other one they describe to be like, they say small folk, and so it's unclear whether they're talking about like a halfling or maybe like a goblin, but they just like, and then like a small one.
So which one of those didn't I see flee?
Yeah.
The 2 that you saw would have been like of like average medium humanoid height, so it would be the little one.
And are there a good number of those remaining still?
The city is mostly populated by humans, so like the majority of the attendees are humans, but there were a good smattering of halflings and like several goblins too. Like it's not super common for them to like, they're not super common in the city, but this is the sort of like free grub, anyone can attend, all are welcome sort of event, and so this is one of the places that they know they can just like come and hang out.
Timora specifically is favored among the halflings as well, so it's
like basically like any halfling in the city who like was able to attend, like they don't have other duties they must see to, they're all there. So there's like of the massive crowd gathered, there's probably a good like 20 to 30, which is a lot for the city, like considering that most people are like workers and have like shops to attend to. So like maybe later in the evening more people might show up, but that's how many had been there so far.
Any other questions? I'm assuming we probably want to know where they were going to meet up afterwards.
Aye.
Am I still in the zone of truth now that I've gone to the wall? To drink my wine?
I think the zone of truth takes up, what is the space on that?
15-foot cone or something like that?
Yeah, it's like, it says 60 feet over 15-foot radius. So that would be the entire cell.
Okay. You're still in it.
Oh boy. Do I get to repeat my save?
Yeah, you can repeat.
Yeah. If you would like to, you could every 6 seconds, basically.
Okay. That +3 brings it to a 17.
Cool. You can lie.
Haha. Do I know I can lie though?
You can.
Or is it just
lie.
you? Or is it like something where like you think you're lying and then it just comes out as the truth, and then like, man, I'm getting too deep into this.
Yeah, we're diving into this spell.
I mean, it says specifically that an affected creature is aware of the spell, so you know.
All right, so I suppose we should find out where they were meeting, kill the rest of them. Well, you know, the usual.
That is standard practice here.
Who was it that asked where they were meeting? Was Wampum?
So
I think I asked our group out loud where they were meeting.
Oh, okay.
I didn't necessarily ask the person in.
So after tonight's party and the missions that you were supposedly on, what location were you to meet and let your higher ups know that your missions were complete?
You ask the question, and they just look at you.
Well, I guess he's done talking.
Well, how do you want to die for the second time? Knife wound, fire, acid, cold? Do you have a preference, really?
And Wampum takes out the dagger and says, I know you know this one. And
What's your passive perception, Wampum?
Passive is 23.
Yeah. As you hold up this, it's a dagger that has like silver inlays, but the blade itself and the handle, the hilt, are all black. And there's like a design, not inlaid into the side, it's raised. And it looks like two like antlers that wind up into the, what's the part that goes over your hand? Heck.
The hilt?
Is that the hilt? Yeah.
The guard?
Yeah.
The guard. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. And you see that. Just like, it's just something you notice before you do whatever it is you do after this.
And I ever so slightly sink it into his chest, letting him know I don't like cheaters.
And I mean, we can question his corpse. It's not like...
Yeah, we'll never be done with you, bucko!
We're going to be here for a while.
Do you push it in like to the heart, into the lungs, into where into the chest, Wampa?
The heart. But I'm gonna take a while to get there.
Yeah. So there's like the skin starts to push back at first, and then it like breaks way under the pressure, and you start to like sink it into their chest. And you can feel it, like scrape against a rib cage, and they like grit their teeth. And as you just like slowly push it in, you can feel the differences between the soft tissue that it connects with until it's up to that guard. And they like grit their teeth, and there's like a heaving breath, and they just kind of...
I'm going to stop right there, and I'm going to reach into my pouch and pull out a normal healing potion and put it down his throat.
Okay. And as his like body starts to like shudder, and like he starts to slump over. He regains, what's that, 2d4 plus 2?
So 2d4.
Oh, you can roll. Never mind.
3 and 1's 4.
So 9.
9 points.
Yeah.
When he does this, when he dumps the healing potion into this body, I'm going to kind of look up at Wampum with a questioning look and mouth the word torture.
Nah. Revenge.
Well, that's going to take a while to unpack. I'm going to finish my wine out there. Enjoy, have fun. It's a party. Woo!
And
I'm gonna quaff the rest of my bottle of wine and stride out.
And Wampum will double take a look at Gnoss and realize, well, maybe so. And then he's just going to shove it in.
Okay.
I look approvingly.
Yeah, go. They've got 9 hit points now, or 9. So I guess roll a d4.
Well, he would automatically be dead because my bonus is.
Oh yeah, that's right. Never mind. You're good. You're good. Yeah, he sputters, and you think you catch a lung a little bit this time, because he like coughs, and there's like a shuddering breath, and a little bit of like blood comes out with like sputum, and he kind of like slumps down under, like against you, Gnoss, under your arm.
Yeah, I start to adopt a more compassionate posture. I'm no longer bearing over him. I'm now catching him and holding him.
I grab hold of a tiny silver cage that I have in my pocket, and I, as a reaction, cast Soul Cage and snatch his soul before it reaches the afterlife.
Okay. That's the one you can use to like. There's stuff you can do with it later on. Basically, you're gonna hold on to it for like, was it 30 days or something like that?
Just 8 hours.
Oh, 8 hours. Okay. All right. Well, let me know if you want to do anything with that later on or now. Yeah. And they don't get like a save or anything. It just happens, right?
Yeah, it just happened.
I was like, I'm aware of that spell, but I've never actually used it. So, okay. Yeah.
I will use one of the charges right away to query the soul.
Okay.
I ask the soul a question, and I receive a brief telepathic answer, which I can understand regardless of the language used. The soul knows only what it knew in life, but it must answer truthfully and to the best of its ability. The answer is no more than a sentence or two and might be cryptic. So I ask, so where were you supposed to go after you were done whatever you're doing tonight?
I'm zooming in on the map that I was looking at, but it's not loading. The mouth of the river.
I've queried this little fella, and I hold up the soul cage. His soul says that they were headed to the mouth of the river when they were done tonight. I suppose I could ask more direct questions if you have any in mind. The soul is kind of compelled to tell the truth in this form. I don't have it forever, but if you do have anything else that you want to ask, let me know.
To be compelled to follow the lady of misfortune is already a life full of misfortune. I just want to let this one go.
He will be released.
Great.
Well, you're muted.
I agree. Gnoss, could you maybe move? Just leave that there. I'll take care of that.
Okay. You will take care of it, right? Because we need to be better than our adversaries. Otherwise,
cremate them.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Everybody out of the cell.
I think we need to go to the mouth of the river. I don't think this can this can wait till morning.
Well, they're not going to be. The one that's remaining isn't going to be done until the morning, so we have all of that time in which to fish them out and make them a spectacle if we prefer.
I'll follow your lead.
Okay. Well, assuming he really leaves the cell, Kale will.
Yeah, Ryman, are you cool with cremation? Like, I don't know if you care or if there's like a thing that you all would typically do. Do you have any vision for what you would normally do? And does it like object to Kale's intent?
For a prisoner, cremation is actually pretty standard. They have a crypt in a secret location, but that is for they have a specific burial spot for followers of the Free Fate, and then they normally bury any of the other servants and followers of Timora at the Westgate Cemetery with special honors. So yeah, cremation is. I mean, I kind of imagine the cell might even have some scorch marks already. So yeah, it's pretty standard practice.
He was already pre-burnt up, so you know.
Yeah. So once everybody's out, Kale will, activate the drift globe and then just kind of push it over, and it'll float and hang out like right on top of the body. And then Kale will do a gesture and say word celestial, and a little sun will appear in the form of flaming sphere. And I didn't need to do that. I just wanted to. It showed up in Roll20. I just meant to use the spell slot. So yeah, basically the flaming sphere is just gonna sit there for like a minute and just devour the corpse until it doesn't exist anymore.
It smells really terrible.
I think Ryman wants to pull Gnoss aside, just kind of walk her away from the party down one of the hallways. Are you all right?
I mean, I'm a little tipsy. What do you mean?
Well, that wasn't exactly standard interrogation. Things went a little different in there. One of your friends got hurt.
Lucario usually transforms into somebody and then gets them to believe that they're that somebody. What do you mean, though? You mean like...
I meant towards the end. I know Wampum has a vengeance streak in him, and by all rights to him, he was stabbed, but I know that maybe drawing out interrogations that way isn't the way that I taught you to do things.
Yeah, I know. And it's not the way that I am usually. Well, not anymore. I mean, there was that time, but we did the eye thing. We had a conversation with our eyes, and he got it, immediately. And as soon as he did get it, then he started, putting an end to things. Okay. That's how that goes.
I'm proud of you for wanting to be better than our enemies. I just want to make sure you're all right with that. I know you've probably seen a lot worse, but you can't begrudge a dad checking in on his kid.
Oh yeah, I'm fine. This is kid stuff. Don't worry about it.
Kid stuff.
All right.
Thanks, Dad.
Also, side note, were you in the vault?
Yeah, it's where you told me to put the money, right?
Uh-huh. Okay. Just make sure you lock up when you're done.
Oh, yeah, it is not locked right now. Yeah, okay, all right, go do that right now.
Also, gold coins aren't as comfortable as mattresses are. Just
says you. That has been a dream of mine since I can't tell you. Today was the best day. Today was the absolute best day of my entire fucking life, except for like that one moment right there. But like everything else, best day.
Good. You don't know how happy that makes me to hear.
Ryman, I really appreciate. I know I don't need to say it. But I want to tell you, I really appreciate the care that you have for me. Of course,
it's an honor. It is more than anything, more than what I do for Timora, more than what I do with Followers of the Free Fate, more than what I do for this temple. It is what I am sure that's why I'm here. That's what I'm here to do.
Thank you.
Of course. You still look amazing, by the way, so don't waste that. Enjoy the party.
Yeah. Oh, I got a conversation with Sophie. Yeah, okay, all right.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, thanks. I love you.
Love you.
Has Ryman ever seen you go golden before?
No. Well, he saw the reclamation of my true resurrection, and in that there were wings, but who's to say if those were my wings at the time? I'm definitely a lot more comfortable with them now.
Mm-hmm. As the adrenaline kind of like fades from the moment and your like righteous like vengeance path that you always seek, Ryman, it kind of like subsides and you think about returning to the party and your like fatherly sort of instincts are kicking in. It occurs to you that you just saw that probably for the first time. Yeah. Not that you have to do anything with it, but
it was definitely the first time within my full control.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, it just cements the idea that Gnoss has this deep power in her that he always kind of knew was there, but now is like finally coming forward, and she's really exhibiting, this energy, this spiritual energy that she's always kind of had, and I think that's part of. In a lot of ways, that's why he chose to train her, because he sensed that in her, and he worried what would happen if that went unharnessed, probably isn't the right word, but at least untrained.
Undirected.
Yeah, that's probably the best word for it.
That's legit.
Okay. So, you far ways. You all return to the party. What are your plans for from this moment on?
I lock the vault.
Gnoss goes and locks the vault. Tazlin is drinking somewhere.
I think Tazlin's like in the center of the party, like just sitting at like a round table, like by himself, just wine.
Okay, Ryman, what are you gonna say?
I think Ryman finally catches up with the attendant that was supposed to fetch his glaive, and he'll kind of snatch it out of his hands. Go, be quicker next time.
They were like standing outside of the door when you came out, because like everything happened so quickly that they like made it back and came out as you all were going in there, and they're just like.
And I think he's going to keep his glaive on him for the rest of the night. He'll kind of, he'll still enjoy the party. He'll just kind of walk around with it. Just don't mind the big sharp stick. It's fine.
Okay. Claudio, what are you doing? Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
I'm gonna use my little buddy again, and use the Eyes of the Dead. So I'm going to use an action to name a place that this person saw in life, which creates an invisible sensor somewhere in that place. If it's on the same plane of existence. The sensor remains there for as long as I concentrate, up to 10 minutes, as if I was concentrating on a spell. See visual and auditory information from the sensor as if you were in its space using your senses. So I'm going to say, like, show me where you were going at the mouth of the river.
Okay. So you invoke this. The sensor appears, and you get visual and audio, or just visual?
Both.
Or just audio? Both. And you see that you are... Okay. So it appears that you are essentially at like the end point of some river. It's unclear whether like there's a little bit of like a hilly region behind, and there's like some rocks there that there seems to be some water trickling out of, but it just kind of seems to be like a pool, like a lake almost. Like it's a really big wide like small lake or big pool of water. Maybe the source of water is like from underground. There are there's not a lot of note around here. You see there are some trees. You see there's like a really, really old, worn down, half sunken into the water, what was probably a dock for very small boats at some juncture, but it's so like it decayed and out of use that it doesn't look like anyone's like there's nothing docked there. It hasn't been in use for some while. But it kind of, although you get kind of like this round view of everything, it sort of focuses on like a very large tree stump, like big, like redwoods. Are those the big giant ones? It's like, it's huge in appearance. It maybe at like 6 or 7 feet in diameter, massive. And it kind of focuses on that for a few moments, and so you get the impression that this is kind of like the impetus of the question that you were asking, and you can hear like muffled voices over the course of the 10 minutes, or however long of those 10 minutes you choose to watch. You hear voices kind of drifting in and out, and it just kind of sits in this area.
Can I make out what the voices are saying?
What languages do you speak?
Not many. That would be Common and Celestial.
Common and Celestial. There are bits of Common. What you do pick out... wait, what are your... never mind. How do I say this? You can pick out words in Common, and you can pick out a few phrases. A lot of things are really muffled, and the bits of conversation that you pick up on seem nonsensical. It's unclear whether there are people randomly talking about flower deliveries, and like the fox they saw on the trail, or whether this is some sort of like code, or they're intoxicated, you know, and muttering nonsense. But you can hear words and phrases that are being said, but nothing of note, and it's all a little bit bizarre.
Well, I store all the details that I can, and I share them with Gnoss. Say, Gnoss, this fella has shown me where their point of reconnection is. I describe it. You lived here. Does that sound familiar to you?
It sounds like these can't. Does that work like it's happening right now?
Yeah, that is happening. Well, everything I just described happened as I was watching it.
Well, shit, I just sent a couple of Bishabans fleeing, so they'll probably let their people know. Wampum might be right that we might want to handle that now. Yeah. I'm gonna turn around and tell everybody else. It's like, okay, we got a bunch of motherfuckers surrounding a giant tree at the mouth of the river. Looks like they have people already waiting for them. We can go bust their shit up now, or pray that they're still there and we can take care of them later, or we can let them go. I, for one, am down to bust them up now.
Kale throws out, he grabs his carpet of flying and he tosses it like in front of him and then says the celestial command word to make it like float.
Hop on.
Are we leaving anyone here for the... Wait, am I privy to this conversation?
If you're still down here, yeah.
Oh, in the cellar? Or the cage?
None of us have left that block.
I think I was like, oh, okay, never mind.
Taslin's outside.
Yeah,
Okay.
Taslin's outside.
I'll grab him by the back of the shirt on our way by.
Whoop!
I'll also pull out the carpet and say, Ryman, you know where we're going?
Oh, you don't mind an old man tagging along? Yeah, I think I know the tree you're talking about. Let me get changed out of these girly clothes real quick and get some Get some armor on. I'll be with you in just a minute.
Dad's going on an adventure. Hell yeah.
Bilbo Baggins. I'm going on an adventure.
Yeah, but like a murdery Bilbo Baggins?
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
Not to like take away from the badassness, because obviously badassness. But
Does that mean he's going to be on the Gnoss and Kale rug?
No, I'm throwing everybody else on the other rug because this is as much as this one can take.
Yeah, that's why I asked if he knew where we were going. There's no room.
And
I can't cast Find Steed.
Wampum sprints off to his room to put his armor back on.
okay.
Oh yeah, I will go get my. I don't have robes that are special. I don't need that quarterstaff. It's whatever. I'll go as is.
What's your arcane focus then?
An amulet, I think. Let me
okay.
Pull it up.
I don't know if that's ever been brought up before. I was just curious.
Yeah, no. I don't think it has, because no one ever asked him directly.
I was.
So we're doing
I
like
was
a
just,
preparing montage. Everybody's putting on armor, slipping on gloves, and Taz is just.
He's just standing there looking around.
it keeps cutting back to Taslin, who's like,
Yeah,
Was everyone,
those
like, getting
10
armor
minutes
on?
it's going to take him to put on that plate armor. I mean, in that time, I think Tazlin finishes the bottle.
there you go, that's fair. Make a Constitution save.
I'm pretty good at those.
Yeah.
That's
Was
Tazlin
pretty
getting
good at those, so I have a +3 from Raymond, right?
If you're within 10 feet.
Am I within 10 feet?
You are not.
Yeah, why would you? Unless you're standing there watching him get dressed for some reason.
That's a 5 total.
Pretty tipsy. Tipsy.
Oof.
Oof.
Like,
Ooh.
he has to make constant concentration checks whether he takes damage or not tipsy?
Oh, man. That seeming spell. Ooh.
Because that would be funny.
Because I am maintaining concentration on that seeming spell.
Mhm.
Just like dunk your head in the fountain real quick.
With
I have established that like alcohol is poison, so like lesser restoration can like cure somebody of being drunk. So
I mean, you're not wrong. I mean,
yeah, if it comes up, that is an option that anyone who has access to that spell would know.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine. I mean, what's the worst thing that happened? I botch a level 9 spell?
Yeah, whatever.
I hope not, because you're not supposed to be able to cast those right
I
now.
know.
That would be horrible.
That would be interesting.
I accidentally mispronounced a level 3 spell and got a level 9. Ooh.
I cast Wish.
I really wish I wasn't this drunk.
He's saying that as he's just got a book out and he's writing, "I wish I weren't drunk. I cast wish."
All right, cast Lesser Restoration at 9th level.
How far outside of Westgate, Gnoss and Ryman, have you ever traveled? Like, I know Gnoss, you have like left, but in the area, like, in this general area, how far out did you like scout? Like, how far do your hunts go, Ryman? Like, how familiar are you with the area outside of Westgate?
So I think his hunts probably go no more than maybe 20, maybe 30 miles tops outside the city. I mean, it normally sticks within a day's ride just because the temple is centered in Westgate and there's enough of a populace there that normally that's where, like, Bathsheba, her followers tend to congregate anyway. But yeah, there's a couple hamlets and smaller towns and things like that. So he'll, if need be, they'll investigate any potential sightings or any cults or shrines that pop up.
Okay.
I've been all over this place. I was a former bounty hunter, and in that, there are a lot of criminals that attempt to flee or stay near the outskirts. So that is well known to me.
Okay. So both of you, being familiar to this area, are pretty confident that the sort of like main river that feeds into the Sea of Fallen Stars. I was like, Sea of Seven Stars? I'm thinking of something else. The Sea of Fallen Stars. It leads pretty far inland. It is about like 16, 17 miles away. But both of you on the sort of like edges of your recall are like, okay, I think I know where we're going. May or may not remember that exact like tree trunk that was mentioned, but you have the idea of where you're going. And that's where we'll pick up next week.
Perfect.
Hey! Woo! That was great. I barely had to do any work this session. Y'all did everything, and I was like, this is awesome. I'm just going to sit here and watch.
Finally.
This is so cool.
What D&D feels like?
Whoa, it's so crazy. Yeah, so thank you everybody for hanging out with us. As always, it's like D&D is one of those things that you play like with your group, and then you have like these stories you want to share, but no one really gets it unless you were there. So the cool thing about streaming your game is you have all these people who got to experience the game with you, and then you can like share it with them and talk about it later, and it's super fun. So thank you, chat, for hanging out with us, because that's one of my favorite things. I'm Katie Quixotic. You can find me everywhere as that. I don't do much other than Twitter and Twitch, though. And I stream sometimes and stuff. It's whatever. My favorite part was probably like Kale and Gnoss. I was just like waiting for this ship this whole time, and I'm like, it's sailed, woo! So like there were a whole lot of really great moments, and that was a fantastic episode with a ton of like really awesome roleplay. But I've just been like waiting for this, and I'm glad that that finally occurred. Anyway, continue on.
Hi, I'm Carl. I played Lefcadio. You can also catch me Wednesday nights on this channel, 8 p.m. Central, in the game of Strands, in which I play with Casey. You can find me Friday night at 8 p.m. Central. 7 p.m. Central on Savric's channel, where I play with Casey. My favorite part about tonight was the writing that Kale had in the book for Gnoss. That was a neat twist and surprise.
I'm Vinny, and I'm next. Hey, I played Kale Irvine, the half-elven cleric of who cares, and. I exist on social media also, but good luck. Good luck getting me to do stuff out there. Look, if you type in the name Scuzzery anywhere into Google, pretty much anything you find will probably be me. Anyway, moving on, relevant to this situation. My favorite part tonight, I mean, I really enjoyed doing the Gnoss Kill, the nail ship, and just finally getting that. Let's get that out of the way. Obviously, because that had to happen at some point for a long time now. But barring that, which I really enjoyed, I think my favorite part was I was kind of almost like edge of my seat at first with the Wampum unarmed battle fight, because I was like, he's a fighter, he's got all these attacks, but I was like, what is he going to really do, though? He can just hit for 6, 6, 6, 6, 6. But then I remembered he's a battle. I was looking at his character sheet in D&D Beyond, and I was like, oh, that's right, he's a battle master. He's just going to beat the shit out of this guy. And it went really well. I was really happy with how that went. And now I'm done, and it's Casey's turn.
Hi, I'm Casey, KCH on social media. And I have been your champion of Time Orlin, Paler Plains, Hacker the Big Fire Chicken, Shield Fight Storm, Slayer of Shadows, Gnoss the Boss. Of Neverwinter.
Thank you, God.
Gosh, what's it like to have this anticipation and the long wait for a payoff? I don't have any idea what that's like.
Right? Like Carl said, you can find me all those places at all those times. And as far as my favorite part of today's episode goes, I am going to go ahead and confidently cop out and say all of it, because confidently all of it. But specifically, if you want like a specific thing for me to say, I thought that was really cool, Katie, how Tazlin was in the vault picking out scrolls and stuff, and you had the one that was just above the one that he picked, like, fall on his head. I love that.
And if you remember, when he rolled, I told him to roll. When he was like, Timora, this one's on you, and there was a critical fail and then a critical success. And I remember. All right, I'm going to use that.
Yeah. Well executed. Well executed. And then I'll pass it on to John.
Hey guys, I am John. I am the Dwarf of Marabar, Master of the Axe, Enemy of the Drow, Traveler of the Plains, Destroyer of Shadow, Deliverer of certain beat up death tonight. I am the Wampum Thunderbelly. And I really enjoyed myself and Ryan at the fountain. The two fathers kind of standing there with a little moment. I kind of enjoyed that. So over to Taslin.
Bonjour, mon ami. My name is Taslin. There we go. And I play a guy who does not sound like that on internet TV. You can catch me here at A time. I think it's 11 Eastern Standard Time to 2 Eastern Standard Time. Outside of that, you can't catch me. I'm just too fast. Up your dexterity stat, I guess. My favorite part tonight was everyone had all the good moments. I go like pretty much last, so I don't want to copy. My favorite moment, though, was when Wampum showed that little bit of dwarven brutality, and it shows that little darkness. It's just a little bit of antagonistic behavior between the party, which I like. Gotta add more plot hooks. So seeing him torture this guy and get the "whoa, bro" from Gnoss. So good. So good. You can also find me occasionally on Fridays. Somewhere. You'll see. Or not. I don't know. I'm going to hand it over to the most excellent, audacious dad of the year, winner of the 2020 Best Glaive Dad, voted by Glaive Monthly, Devin Sword. Derek Sword. Shit!
Yeah, you had it. You had it until the end.
I thought you were just going to do that on purpose and leave it there, so you had to be like, dude, my name's Derek.
Damn, roller coaster every time, just hitting that bottom. All
If I
right.
didn't have a 10 in charisma, that might have happened.
All right. Hi, everybody. I am Derek Sword. Yes, that is my real last name. Yes, it is awesome. No, you can't have it. I played, again, Ryman Olero. He is Gnoss's dad. He's your dad. I'm proud of you. You're doing a great job. You can find me on Twitter at dsword16. I'm also on Discord in the same name. You can also catch me, because I'm very slow and full of cookies, on every other Tuesday on Uncanny Adventures, where I play Call of Cthulhu. So that won't be this week, but next. I am also on the Stalwart channel. That's STAULWART tonight and every Saturday for their Guild Spotlight game, where I'm playing a half Shatterkai, maybe inspired by somebody on this channel. I am also on an upcoming episode of the podcast Monster Crush with Heavenly, where we talk about monsters that we want to smooch. And I might be on other upcoming episodes as well, so check out that. I am looking forward to another session. I was lucky to do just one. Apparently I'm going to be in 3. What? So yeah, this has been just amazing and an honor. And I love these people. They're amazing to play with. I can't tell you how much fun this is. Looking forward to this week. Oh, and my favorite thing, of course, Wampum kicking ass. That was amazing. Gnoss reading out of the book. That was incredible. I especially liked Gnoss's kind of reticence towards the potential torture of it, but her kind of keeping the morality is definitely something that I've enjoyed watching over all the episodes when I was catching up, and it's amazing to see that is ingrained in the character. And I also love Taslin just getting drunk as preparation for a fight. I love Taslin just partying alone, just grabbing a bottle, going to the center of the party and going, "Don't come near me. This is how I have fun."
This is my zone of truth.
Yes, 15-foot radius where he's like, "I'm okay. I'm good. I'm a great necromancer."
Oh my god, I love it.
Last time I cast a necromancer spell.
On the way to the library.
Sally Boy Band.
Mm-hmm. That's been a while, though, other than that. Anyway, thank you again, everyone, for joining us. It was super fun. We'll be back next week. Same time, same place. Do we have somebody to raid?
Yep, it looks like Tanya, or Cypher of Tyr, is playing a community shoot 'em up type situation on her channel. So stay tuned after the credits, and we will be raiding her directly.
Woo! Bye!
Bye!
See you next week. If you want.
Please.